afternoon. Happy hump day. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the lovely province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. Nobody won the Lotto Max last night, so Friday's draw, 65 mil. Tonight, Lotto 649, 28 mil. And tomorrow, Connor McDavid has a chance to go for 0.1000 in his 659th career game, which is pretty impressive. It'll be the fourth fastest. And I'm telling you, they're going to do it. There's really no doubt in my mind that the Edmonton Oilers are Connor McDavid's going to get a point, at least one. I won't be surprised if he gets multiples, to be honest. I just think it's inevitable. He has 7 points now in his last two games. Last night was the game that you have seen from McDavid numerous times in his career where almost every shift he was dangerous. That's really the first game all year, I think you can say, that McDavid has been on that high level that you see from him. It was impressive. I asked him about it, and he goes, "You know what? When it's games like that, man, I don't want to get off the ice." And he said, "Hey, I thought Knobloch did a good job." Now, Knobloch said he didn't think he used him enough in the first and second period. He used him more in the third, and he felt as a coach he probably should have used him a little bit more early in that game because he was going. And when a guy like that is going, you keep feeding him. Why wouldn't you? He can handle it. He's got the cardio to do it. You're not going to feel it like that every night. But I thought last night, if you're an Oiler fan, that's the most encouraging sign that McDavid's starting to come back. Their power play 2 games in a row now has looked good. Hell, their penalty kill didn't allow a goal. That's a win. It doesn't matter how many chances the Islanders had. All that matters is the Oilers didn't give up a power play goal. That is a win for this team because they have been leaking goals 5-on-4 for far too long. So that to me is a win for the Edmonton Oilers anytime they can get through a game and not give up a power play goal to the opposition. So you'll take it, you move on, and away you go. So when hey, it's 0 for 2. You got to do some baby steps. You got to start somewhere to start getting better on the penalty kill. And they did it last night. So McDavid has a goal and 2 assists. Leon Draisaitl has 2 goals. So Leon Draisaitl, in case you're wondering, 12 goals in 16 games. That is the third best goal scoring start of his career. He had 17 in the first 16 games back in 2020, the year he won the Hart Trophy. He also had 13 goals in the first 16 games in 2022. So for Draisaitl, not a huge shock to see him have this start. Points-wise, it's actually like his 5th or 6th best start. Because remember the one year he had 33 points in the first 16 games. Him and McDavid were just on another level at that point. But the Oilers, they didn't love their third period. But they get a win. And at this point, especially you score some goals at home, you get a win. That's a positive for them. And now they take on the Nashville Predators, a team that for whatever reason they beat for fun right now. And tomorrow, there's going to be some extra motivation. Make no mistake about it. It is a very magical milestone for Connor McDavid. 1,000 points. And you think about kind of, if you're a numbers fan in Edmonton, he will become the 99th player to score 1,000 points. He'll be the 4th Oiler to score 1,000 points as a member of the Edmonton Oilers. He also will be the 4th quickest in NHL history, trailing only Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Mike Bossy, who did it in 656 games. McDavid's going to do it in 659. Leon Draisaitl even said last night. He goes, "Hey, I don't want to jinx it, but come on. I don't believe in jinxes myself. What I say on the radio today has absolutely zero bearing and impact on what happens tomorrow." But just some numbers for you to crunch. In his last 16 games, Leon Draisaitl has 24 goals against the Predators. 24. He has 37 points in those 16 games. McDavid, in his last 19, has 39 points. Those guys, they are beating up on Nashville to a level we haven't seen. And there's no reason to think it's going to slow down. Calvin Pickard, who's 2-0 against the Predators, he'll start against them again for the third Thursday. All their meetings were on Thursdays. First one in Edmonton, second one in Nashville, last one in Edmonton, and the Oilers have won the first two. They'll look for the series sweep. They've now won 2 in a row. They'll be looking for their first 3-game winning streak of the season before they go out on a 3-game road trip in Canada to Toronto, Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal, and Ottawa. But I'm telling you, his teammates want him to get the record. McDavid, you don't want to have to talk about it for too long. It really hasn't been touched on. It was touched on yesterday because you're like, well, he could get 5 points. And what did he do? He got 4. So now all he needs is a single point. And did you know the NHL allows for major milestones without getting into delay of game penalty? So when he scores his 1,000th point, if the Oilers teammates want to clear the bench and congratulate him, they can. There'll be no delay of game. So just keep that in mind if you're going to the game or not. If you're watching the game, it will be a special moment because first of all, only 99 guys have done it all time. And McDavid, he scores a point, maybe scores 2, whatever he scores tomorrow. He'll have 65 games remaining in the season, and he'll either need 100 more points, 99, 98, to get to 1,100. When he gets to 1,100, he'll be only the 67th player to 1,100. And very plausible that could happen late this season. Him scoring 100 points in 65 games is not remotely unrealistic. You look at it's 56, 55. His games played to get to 100 points has dropped the last few seasons. Really from the first time till the last time for him to reach that milestone is pretty damn impressive. So if you're going to the game, enjoy it. If you are watching the game at home, recognize that it's a pretty big deal. And I think at times, we take for granted some things, especially for great players, because they're so great. But I'm telling you, if you have a chance to go, and hey, you know what? There are tickets for tomorrow's game against the Preds, where you could see McDavid score his 100th point live at Rogers Place. You can get your tickets at edmontonowners.com/tickets. And I know a lot of people want to be in the building for that. Why wouldn't you? It's a pretty big deal. Crowd's going to be electric. The crowd, you're just going to be anticipating it. It's fun. There's not a lot of games like that. He's never going to score his 1,000th point again. Now, 1,500 is pretty big. I've said it now for a few years. I think he will be a player who scores 2,000 points in his career. Very impressive. And it's something that should be celebrated. And you'll hear people, he hasn't won a cup. You cannot win a Stanley Cup in the regular season. Okay, it's physically impossible. The two are not connected. Not winning a Stanley Cup has zero bearing on what you do in the majority of your career in the regular season. None. Zilch. Zero. Nada. People used to say thing about Ovi. He won in year 13. Okay? Not everybody wins in year 3 or 4, or 6 or 8. Everybody's different. So when his career's over, if you want to use that, great. I think it's somewhat narrow-minded because the odds are it's much harder to win today than it was definitely in a 16 league or in a 12-team league or in a 14-team league or 16 or 21 or 22 or 24 or 27, 30, now 32. It's just harder. So I look at McDavid and what he's done to this stage of his career, and it is very, very impressive. Very impressive. So I look at McDavid, and here's a fun little fact, because I always like looking up, some people might call it obscure. I like to look for the details. And Mike Bossy, Connor McDavid, Mario Lemieux, Marcel Dion. When you look at players who are, in the category that McDavid is in right now, And I'm like, hey, what did they do? Did you know Gretzky, Connor Halley, here's a fun little fact. Gretzky entered in his 424th game. He entered that game needing 1 point to reach 1,000, just like Connor McDavid did. The great one, all he did that game was score 6 points. So he actually had 1,005 points in 424 games. It's ridiculous. Right? But Mike Bossy, Mario Lemieux, all three of them in the game to reach 1,000 points, all scored at least 3 points in their game. So that's why I'm telling you, McDavid's first chance to get to 1,000 is tomorrow night. Entering the game, he's 1 point shy. To me, I'm marking it down that he's getting a point, and I'd mark it down. He's going to get a multiple point game. So it wouldn't surprise me at all. So Lemieux was 2 points shy. He ended up getting 3 in his game. Mike Bossy, he was actually 996 points away. Bossy had a 4-point game. So Gretzky had 6, Bossy had 4, Lemieux had 3. What do you think McDavid's going to get tomorrow? I'll just go on the low end and say 3, which would give him 10 points in his last 3 games. Not bad. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Con man, it was a pretty good performance last night by McDavid. And we talked about it yesterday. McDavid still hasn't had one of those wow games. Well, now he's had the wow game.
Yeah, I think Spec said, inevitably it's going to come. I think we've all been waiting for it to happen. Last night was the night I was watching there. Gotta say, a little distracted, but end of the night, look at the score sheet. Oh, 4 points for McDavid, right? Like we were tallying it along, obviously, as he approaches that 1,000-point marker. It's crazy what he's doing, and we know he doesn't just typically do this and then fade away. Like he's going to go on a bit of a run here and continue to put up points. Gretzky did it. You said the 6-point night. Yeah, get a good head start on that second 1,000 points, was what he was doing. I think Connor McDavid will try to do the same. And, they need wins. And to get wins, they need him to be at his best. And looks like he's starting to find that. And just, on the moment, you talked about it. The only 99 in history will have done it. It hasn't been done in an Oilers uniform since 1991 when Mark Messier did it, right? So, it's been a long time, 33 years. A lot of our listeners don't remember that. I don't remember that. So I think it's going to be something that it's going to be very cool to see him get this done, wearing an Oilers uniform, becoming the 4th player to do so. And I eagerly await the next one to do it because I think we're going to see another one next year.
Oh, yeah. Leon Draisaitl is going to get to 1,000 point next year. Right? Back-to-back seasons where you'll see some players. So as I mentioned that you look at where Connor McDavid is all time right now, and he's currently 999th in scoring, and so he will become the 99th player to score 1,000 points, which is darn impressive. But as I mentioned, if he gets to 1,100 points, which isn't crazy because that means he'd finish the season with 118 points. No one's like, oh, geez, I didn't think he could get 118. Well, then he jumps up and he would pass Glenn Anderson, who is currently 67th with 1,099. And then he'd be up to 67. And then the following season, let's say he gets another 100 and let's just say 110 points to be on the cautious side. Well, he gets 110 points. Well, now he's up to 48th. Gets 120 points, he'd be up to 46th. And he just keeps climbing. And that's where I think there's a very good chance when it's all said and done that Connor McDavid is going to be the second highest scorer in NHL history behind Wayne Gretzky. I see no reason why he won't be. Later this year, Nathan McKinnon should become the 100th player to reach 1,000 points. He needs 71 more points this season. I think that's a lock. Now, he needs 71 before Brad Marchand gets 58. I think he will pass Marchand before then, and then he'll beat him to 1,000. Brad Marchand then, I would think would be close. Jamie Benn, he needs 86 points to get to 1,000. He's not going to get it this year. But could he get 40 points more this year and then 40 next year and make it? I think he very much could. Now, Kucherov could also do it this year because he needs 104 points to reach 1,000. So think about it. You could have McDavid, McKinnon, and Kucherov all reach the 1,000 point mark in the same season. It's pretty impressive. As I mentioned, Leon Draisaitl, he's 130 points shy today. So he'll reach it next season. I don't think he's going to. Now, I guess there's a chance, but he would need a 150-point season for him to reach 1,000 this year. It'd be amazing, but I think it would be rather difficult to do. So 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, Gretzky, Messier, and Curry, how many of them did it on home ice for game 1,000? That's a really good question. I would have to, I would look it up. Gretzky, Gretzky did it against the Kings in Edmonton. I know that for sure. I'd have to look up Curry and Messier on where they got game 1,000. But Gretzky definitely did it on home ice. And I do think that's important. I really do. You know, your fans are ultra loyal, especially nowadays. They pay huge money to go to games on a regular basis, whether you're a season ticket holder, whether you're a suite holder, whether you're a mini pack holder, whether you're a one game a year. I don't care how many times you go. That's a big commitment financially. Don't down. Well, I only go to one game. It's way more than the vast majority of people. There's a lot of people just can't afford it. It's really expensive. So I look at the opportunity to see it live will be special for some people. And I think, honestly, for McDavid, he'll want to give it to his fans.
Messier did it in Philly with 3 assists.
Okay.
And I'll check Curry right now.
All right. Hey, guys, let's say, everybody talks about no lockouts, injuries, yada, yada, yada. Well, injuries are part of the game, man. We can't do the what if. The best ability is dependability. And part of hockey is injuries for everybody. We can't say, well, what if this guy didn't get hurt or this guy didn't get hurt? We can't do it. Right? Because it's a what if. I don't know. Right? Maybe they avoided one injury. Would they have gotten another injury? I can't say. So I just go off of what happened, and it's very good.
Curry in St. Louis.
So McDavid could be the second guy on home ice. Curry did it in St. Louis, you said, and Messier
in Philly. Messier had 3 assists. Curry had a goal and 2 assists.
So Gretzky had 6 points. Messier had 3, and Curry had 3.
Yes.
So there you go. Now, what did Curry? Did he need 3 to get to 1,000? Do you know what
that I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look it up, but I like it. So either way, it's pretty darn impressive, and it's fun to watch. So, Cons, keep the dates of those games for Gretzky, for Messier and Curry. Just keep them on a piece of paper, and because I know how I can find it out pretty quickly.
All right.
On what they had for totals heading into it. So if you're going to the game tomorrow night or you're planning on watching, I don't think you're missing the first period. Does anyone think he's going to wait till the second period to get this done? I don't think so. 2:20, quick break. When we return, Mike Rupp is going to join us on the show. Also, today we'll hear from Kevin Woodley, Luke Pierce, the head coach of the Oil Kings, Ricky Ray, a little Grey Cup chatter, guy who knows a thing or two about winning the Grey Cup. Tyler Remchuk will be by spec. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch right now. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about Jeff Skinner. And, Jeff Skinner, I thought started well, but it's kind of tailed off. Last night saw himself get demoted from the top line. And, man, he's just giving the puck away too much. The defensive play on the second goal, I don't like. He just, lets the puck go right through his feet. There's no contact. There's nothing. It's stopping on the puck. There's a lot of errors there. But it's more so with the puck on the stick, how many times he's given the puck away. And when you play with McDavid, puck possession is very crucial. Giveaways, you want to minimize. We'll get to that and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Trusted barber, Jersey. It's about looking your absolute best. There's only one thing you need. Mr. Turk, family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Michelle and Colette are sisters. Sisters who don't agree on much, especially when it comes to which hockey team is the best.
Edmonton is the best, baby. Vancouver's number one.
Even when it comes to meat snacks for the Wilhawks.
I love the Harris Wiener, the ham sausage.
But they will agree.
Wilhauk beef jerky is the best.
It might just be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Others can try to imitate, but no one can duplicate Wilhauk beef jerky. Only available in the today because no one is with salad.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program. It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
Only gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just on Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road.
Often I do a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hand delivering a hamper to a family in need fills everyone's hearts with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper program. Adopt a local family and see the difference your groceries and gifts make firsthand. Sign up today at holidayhamper.ca.
Worried about your debt but don't know how to deal with it? My name is Parveen Middleton, and I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I talk with people about debt every day, and I understand how stressful your situation can be. During a free consultation, I can show you how to lower your payment and become debt-free. I can offer you immediate relief from that overwhelming stress. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to learn more.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. This is one big deal for one big pizza. Get an extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Order today at papajohns.ca.
It's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having a great day, as well as on X. As always, thanks for listening and watching the show. Maybe you're taking us with us on the app. That's great. iHeartRadio app, of course, Stingray app, or the radio player. app. The Edmonton Oilers practice today. No Victor Arvidsson, so something to watch for tomorrow. Victor Arvidsson is 50-50 to play tomorrow. And Chris Knobloch said nothing too serious, but they'll have to reevaluate him in the morning. And they will decide. He'll talk to Stan Bowman. They're either going to go 11-7, or they'll make a recall and bring up another forward. Now, with the Oilers leaving Friday to go out east, I won't be shocked if they consider a forward. Now, if Arvidsson can play, then obviously he's good enough, then maybe they don't. But we'll see. So either way, you could see a transaction coming by the Edmonton Oilers. Now, if they do it after 3 o'clock today, it does not count until tomorrow. So just keep that in mind for the cap savings, because every day counts. Every day matters. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. Tuesday, Thursday, Sundays. Fan day deals. Hockey fans, just for you. Get the McDonald's app, and you can get $4 Big Macs, McChicken, or filet of fish. Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, $4 McDonald's app. As we welcome to the show our regular Wednesday guest, of course, from former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner. Now is ace analyst on the NHL Network, color analyst for the Penguins broadcast. Mike Rupp joins us. Rupper, how you doing?
I'm good, Greg. How you doing, bud?
I'm excellent. And here in Edmonton, there'll be lots of eyes on Connor McDavid tomorrow night as he looks to join the 1,000-point club. He'll be the 99th entry into that club, but the fourth quickest as far as games played, also the fourth youngest if he does it. He'll be a few days older than Steve Yzerman was, but played fewer games than Stevie Y did to make it to that point. To only Bossy, Lemieux, and Gretzky did it in fewer games. And last night, Mike, I thought was really the first game this year where McDavid was on a different level. And he really was from start to finish last night.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that was pretty obvious last night that he was dialed in. I mean, man, it was when he went to the backhand on his goal there, how easy he makes that look. You forget sometimes. I mean, it's just when the guy's going, things just look so natural and smooth. I think that's the one thing when you're looking at this season so far, it's that he hasn't gotten fully going. And that to me is what's very intriguing about this team. And is just they had their nasty stretch there. You win some games and you kind of seem like you're partially back and kind of where things are going. But that's the one thing there I always sit there and look at is he's not fully Connor McDavid. And I wonder with the way last year went, the way every year that passes. I mean, you talk about him being at 999 points right now. I don't know if I don't know. I've never been in a position like that. How many are as being a great player like that, where a long run like last year, does that make you kind of pick and choose a little bit more where you're all go, go, go? And we see him do that. And I'm not saying there's not we know he had some injury. There was that in question too, but just, you understand what I'm saying? Like there's this switch. Do the great players sense when they go on late runs like that, when that switch needs to go? And maybe I don't know if I can be switch on all the time. And that's something with him that I'm really curious watching this season as it goes along. We've seen it in the past and it works when you have guys that do that. Geez, I would hate to ever use the word pacing, because I don't believe that Connor has that in his blood to pace, but just to be a little more calculated. If you're up 4-1, maybe it's not looking to go and get those next couple assists or goals. That's something I'm really paying attention this year. But to your point, he was awesome last night and made it look easy.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he was – something just didn't seem off. Even if you just look at his explosiveness on NHL Edge, his top-end speed was a full mile an hour, like a mile and 1.2 miles an hour slower than the previous 3 years. And so I wonder if maybe there was more to it than that, because I agree with you. I don't think he holds back. I think maybe there was a little bit of banged up, and then he did miss some games. Now he's come back. He's got 7 points in his last 2 games. But last night, right from the opening shift for him, it was like, oh, here's one of those games where McDavid, almost every shift, you're like, I got to watch this guy because he's going to do something. And, it worked. And so, the Oilers start scoring some goals, which they've really struggled on home ice, and they get a win. Now they got Nashville, who they just beat up for fun. It's crazy how long that's gone on. Leon Draisaitl, it's funny. Like, all the focus will be on McDavid tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Leon Draisaitl's like, oh, hey, guys, over here, 24 goals in my last 16 games against the Predators. Like, it's stupid.
He had that one, because this is, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is already the third time they matched up this year.
Every Thursday.
Correct?
Yeah.
The first one, Leon I think he only got the assist. It was like, wah. Oh no. Yeah, that's over. All those days of beat out. Did he get 0 points in the first match? There was something where he's basically going 3 points a night against those guys over the last however many years. And then in the matchup in the second game, I'm pretty sure he had a normal Leon night with like 3 points.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just the one where those matchups and them just kind of beating up on Nashville just seems like the regular. And but it's I'm really interested to see how Nashville. I mean, this is the wrong guy or team, I guess you want to see, just because of the history you just mentioned. But because every game right now is huge for Nashville. So. That's going to be one to watch out for. But Leon just absolutely. I mean, even last night I'm watching that overtime. I remember turning, and just being like in overtime. You watch. This is going to be. I mean, it's not really anything breaking news. I'm like, it's going to be a Leon Draisaitl OT winner from Connor McDavid. It's coming, right? Those guys are still good in those situations. That Leon's great against Nashville. So we'll see how that game goes.
Yeah. Well. They've been dominant against him, no question. And, you look at McDavid, and I think sometimes people, I know there's lots of Edmonton fans who admitted after a while they kind of took Gretzky for granted because it was just so good. And you just, oh, yeah, I got 2 points, ho-hum. And I understand it, right? People and anybody in their relationship will admit at times, maybe you take your partner, your spouse, a little bit for granted. Kids can probably say, I might have taken my parents for granted sometime. It's natural human, I guess. But like, I look at McDavid, and I get why he doesn't want a big focal point about it, but I do think he understands. Like, 1,000 points, dude, is still pretty spectacular in a career, never mind in only 659 games. And I get the sense that his teammates are, I don't know how much will be public, but behind the scenes, I think this will be a big deal for them. And it should be. Like, you played with some great players, Rupper, and I think at times maybe you got to force the great players to kind of stop and smell the roses at times on their own journey.
Yeah, I think that part of that's what makes them great. That they just don't pay attention necessarily. I mean, they pay attention to those things. I mean, I've always been of the ilk of I want my star players or star goal scorers to dream about scoring goals, think about it every second. I want them. I have no problem when if they pout after the game because we won 5-1 and they didn't get a goal. Like you need that. You need a little bit of that. That's what makes them so different and unique. I think the one thing with Connor, when we're looking at it too, with just those games played being at 999, everybody knows how great he is. I mean, geez, right now I think he's got to be revered. For me, at least, he's top 5 all time, and that stands today.
Yeah,
and he's got a lot more hockey ahead of him. I think the impressive thing, just coming off the other night with the Hall of Fame, and we sit there and we look, and I have a game for myself where, I played with Patty Elias. I love Patty Elias. For me, he's a Hall of Famer. I look at his numbers. You start comparing. I do all this stuff in my head, like, all right, well, this guy should be in, and then when this guy's available to go, he should be going in. A lot of these guys that we're talking about are in the range of like 1,200 points.
Mm-hmm.
The Connor's at 1,000 already.
Yeah,
and the games played. So we all obviously know he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But I guess it just sometimes when I go back and you think about some of the things, an example, the Ovi record for goals,
yeah,
or the Wayne record that Ovi's chasing. It's like you gotta stop and remind yourself sometimes that Wayne Gretzky wasn't revered as a goal scorer. Goal scoring was very secondary for Wayne Gretzky. But he was obviously great. He's the great one. He's great at everything. But and I think that the point of that is also when you're looking at It's Connor McDavid. The fact that he's doing it in this least amount of games that we've seen in quite some time, like you just mentioned, and the names that's around that. I mean, that to me is just like, it's not to poo-poo anybody else who's getting in the Hall of Fame with 1,200 points. It's just, this guy is that much different. The games played, where he's at, it doesn't seem like he's been around incredibly long. It's not Sidney Crosby's length of a career. And this guy, man, it's just something really, really special. And I think it does get taken for granted just on a nightly basis watching this guy play.
Yeah, totally agree. Mike Rupp joins us. Rupper, Johan Garpenlöf was asked, the article came out and talking about the Sweden team for Four Nations, and he said, I wouldn't have Erik Karlsson because I don't think his defensive game is up to it. You see the Penguins on a nightly basis. What do you make of Karlsson's defensive game at this point, and is that going to put him maybe in a challenging spot to make the Sweden Four Nations team?
I don't see the defensive play ever being a situation that would get him on that team to begin with.
Fair point.
So I don't think anything's necessarily changed. Erik Karlsson's a unique one because you watch him, or when you watch him, there's some nights where his forward skating ability will close out plays and he'll be able to do things defensively. But then there's some other nights like he struggles pivoting. His backward skating in neutral zone with speed, it's a struggle, and it's been like that for quite some time. The odd man rushes that the Penguins give up against, a lot of times Erik Karlsson's on the ice and he gets stuck in these spots that he's not great at. Now, the big thing that's the difference with Erik Karlsson is a lot of that hasn't really changed over the years. But when he's putting up points and he's getting 100 points, 90 points, 80 points, whatever that number is, you could live with those things.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is he's not doing that now. So it's even worse. And he's had some really rough nights as of late. So, I think of the same thing when they announced this, and I get why they did this, and you want to get this hype and build this Four Nations. And they announced, 4 guys from every roster. 6. I mean, what was it, 6? Is that the number?
Yeah.
So when he announced the top 6 guys in each roster, I mean, you could say that about Brad Marchand as far as was that some of these guys mentioned. Like, of course you want Brad Marchand on that roster, but if at some point this year, if Brad Marchand, his game's starting to come around a little bit more, it doesn't look great right now. Erik Karlsson's game does not look great right now. These guys, it's totally different animals in the way they play and can maybe contribute. But I just find some of these, it's interesting to me because I'm like, should you have named those 6? And I don't know. It's kind of it's kind of funny when you look at it and then you talk about how guys are playing going into a tournament like that. But Erik Karlsson, he's struggling. The Pittsburgh Penguins, they're struggling. But at the end of the day, I mean, this guy was never picked to be on this team to play good, solid defense. He was put on this team to be on the ice to drive offense, and that's what they need him to do.
Mike Rupp joins us. If Jenny Malkin came out, Rupper apologized to the fans. That first period in Dallas, that was a rough first period by the Penguins. No question about it. You can lose a game 6-0. Losing a period 6-0 is just something we don't see very often. The North Stars hadn't done it since they were the North Stars back in, I think, 1971, I think it was. So a long time ago. I look at the construction of this team, Rupper, and like I said it, and I know lots of people disagree with me. Oh, Crosby would never do it. And I can understand it. But I argued it would have been better for both him and the organization. And it still might be because you can trade him. He's got a 2-year deal. Now the team that acquires him knows if we're acquiring him, well, we're getting his rights for 2 years plus. But the best thing might be for Crosby to get dealt because that allows him to go into a rebuild mode and get some more assets.
So I agree with everything you're saying there. I personally, and just in my opinion, don't ever see him playing anywhere else. I don't know if it's just me not being able to fathom that idea. I know that he wants to be in Pittsburgh more than anything. I think that him signing that 2-year deal is an indication of that. But also, I know there's a lot of attention given to the 8.7 that he signed because of the obvious with his jersey number. But it also makes him very easily attainable maybe for a lot more teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that really interesting because this guy had 94 points last year. So if we're going to go based off last year and the level he's been playing at, 8.7 is that's a steal. And so I wonder if, and I don't know anything on this, I wonder if that's part of it too, where, hey, he can have this contract. It is movable. If it ever got to that, if it ever got to where, hey, things have changed, I need to go, the team's in a rebuild. I mean, there's a lot of different moving parts right now in Pittsburgh. I don't know where it's going to go, but I think there's options there, which clearly he holds all the cards in, and deservingly so he should. But if I had to make a guess, I just don't. I just think he's going to retire a Pittsburgh Penguin. I think it's really important to him, just like Mario did in Pittsburgh. But it's interesting. I know that there's a lot of rumors and a lot of people out there like to kind of fan that flame a little bit. But I don't know, man. Every day right now, I'm waiting. I'm watching on X or for news to see if anything happens here and to get a tip of the hand on what this team's going to do. But something's got to be done because it's really bad right now. Yeah.
Oh, it's awful, right? Like, they moved Lars Eller, and I guess that's the beginning of them to consider maybe, I guess going in a rebuild. But man, like, it's hard to go in a rebuild when you've got Malkin and Crosby and Letang and Carlson locked up long term. Like, how do you do it?
So you got the 5 guys on full no moves, right? So I think it's Carlson, Letang, Crosby, Rust, and Malkin, all on full no moves. But then you got 7 other guys on modified no moves, and those range anywhere from 18 no trade lists to 10 no trade lists. Some that kick in at different times, and so it's not a really easy thing to do here. It's a tough spot. And then I also wonder, and this is the big question mark I have, and we don't know the full story even when the last regime was there, of how much you're actually allowed to do as well. I think there's some really difficult conversations that are either happening now or going to be happening very soon with certain individuals to see and maybe revisit certain conversations that have already happened and decisions were made, just to kind of give some options here. I think that's where it's getting. So maybe I'll just use this for an example. Maybe and I know for a fact, Chris Letang signed in Pittsburgh. He wants to be a Pittsburgh Penguin forever. He's one of the greats in that franchise. His numbers going to be in the Raptors there. But you go back and say, hey, Tanger, where are we at now? Like, this is where we're at. We thought it was going to be different. We need to do this as a franchise. What can we do good by you? Do you want to go and chase it? You might have to have this with Evgeny Malkin. I don't think you're going to have this conversation necessarily with Sid unless Sid initiates it, but that's kind of where they're at right now. And I think there's really a lot of uncomfortable conversations happening in Pittsburgh right now.
Oh, God, I would agree wholeheartedly. The Winnipeg Jets, Rupper, they were in your fair city there in New York and absolutely, kind of laid a beating on the Rangers. Like, they were 14-1 going into the game and somehow were underdogs because the Rangers are a pretty good home team. And they went in there and spanked them. Like, my goodness, this Jets team looks rock solid right now.
I'm very bullish on the Jets. There's no reason not to be, right, with one loss at this stage of the game. Last night started, I believe, the run. I saw it in the NHL notes, and I found it interesting because you don't pay attention a ton to this, but when they've been that dominant, you're sitting here looking at thinking, is this going to be one of the all-time great teams, or is this just an incredible start as far as regular seasons go? And they're in this stretch now. Basically, they've had a very quote-unquote easy schedule through this stage of the game. Last night, I think, starts a 9 or 10 game stretch where you have upper echelon teams to go against. So we'll see what it looks like in the next little bit. But I do think they're for real. I think that they're a team that they answer a lot of different things for me. They've gotten scoring going throughout the lineup. I think this is for the people out there that haven't been paying attention to Kyle Connor are starting to realize how really good this guy is, and he's been for a long time. Man, it's fun. It's a fun team to watch. And last night, I think they showed how good they could be against probably the best team or second best team in the Eastern Conference in the Rangers. So keep a tab on them over the next couple of weeks. If they can keep it going through this nastier part of the schedule, can you be looking at them through, 25 games and having them with 2 or 3 losses? I mean, that would be absolutely incredible.
No, Yeah. Well, they look really, really good. Rupper, great stuff as always, man. We appreciate it. Have a great. Are you on tomorrow night, or when are you on next on Amazon?
Amazon next week.
Next
week, I got Prime Coast to Coast. Yeah, I'm not sure who's on this week. I don't know if you caught last week's. So last week's had Mess on, I think, with Weeksy. So it's cool getting different people on there and getting some looks for the Canadian fans. And I'll be on next week.
Now, Rupper, when you were on the last time, we had a hockey practice for my team, and I missed it. Did you bring the picture of you and Sid?
I was going to bring it, and I did not bring it though. So I guess I should leave out that I was going to.
It's kind of a fail there, Rupper.
Conversation, right?
That's a fail.
I know
there.
it was.
You should have. He would have loved it. He would have loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I wish we would have had him though. We had to pre-tape it because of their schedule.
Yeah.
In Edmonton, they were playing the Oilers there. And because I love when you get the guys in there while all the games are going on.
Yes,
and that's what they did the 1 week with Scheifele. I think we talked about that before, and it was cool just watching that with current players. But yeah, they always got tricks up their sleeves. So maybe I'll have an opportunity to bring it in one of these other times.
Awesome stuff, Rupper. We'll talk again next week, my man.
Awesome, Greg. Have a good one, man.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network. Quick break. We'll return to Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50 and get a free $50 play.
Raise a smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there. Now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies like the Orangesicle, the Marathon, and the Original, made with oranges, bananas, strawberries, strawberry sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Are you watching the interest rates these days? Of course you are. Paying less interest leaves money in your pocket. That's why St. Albert Dodge is happy to tell you that right now they have 0% financing on virtually all new 2024 models. Hundreds to choose from: Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer, Dodge Durango, and Hornet, Ram 1500, 2500, 3500, all with 0% financing. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit edmontonexpocenter.com. EdmontonOilKings.com today. Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m. Hockey is back. And Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
When it comes to your health, trust Dr. Bryce Henderson for expert care in hip and knee replacements. With years of experience and advanced techniques, Dr. Henderson helps you regain your mobility and quality of life.
Your health is my priority. Let's get you back to doing what you love.
Put your health in the hands of a trusted expert. Book your consultation with Dr. Henderson today. Visit vitalsurgicalspecialist.ca or call 587-391-7864.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. eWell.ca is your power play partner with a new website that puts the power in your hands with 24/7 ordering and shipping within Edmonton and across Alberta. Score an account today at ewel.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.252. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, as we go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, where hey, they can help you take action on your savings. As did you know that right now you can get the refundable federal tax rebate up to 30% off a solar project capital cost? So you know what? It's called the ITC. It's a game changer. If you want to learn more, go to actionelectrical.net and they can help you out. As we are joined by the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings, who had to reacquaint himself with some home cooking. I know they've been home for a little stretch, but the Edmonton Oil Kings haven't played a home game in almost a month, but they'll be back on home ice tonight against the Medicine Hat Tigers. Luke Pierce joins us. Luke, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Jason. Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been a unique schedule for you guys early on, Luke, and when you're on the road that often, you know, there's always two ways to look at it. It's let's look for the positive, and then maybe some team bonding for your group and such. How do you feel your team handled the extended stretch here away from home?
No, I'm pretty happy with how we've handled that. I think, like you said, you got to find the positives in it, and we managed to, do some unique things away from here that, besides hockey, that I thought really helped our group bond a little bit better. And as you know, I mean, tight groups they're always much better on the ice as well. So you can tell, though, with the amount of time away and the lack of practice time, you know, some of those things are starting to show up in our game here. So we just got to kind of hang on here through the next few days and get back on home ice and tighten some things up. But overall, I think the way this group has handled this extended stretch is admirable.
So you look at your team, and you guys got off to a little bit of a slow start, but you've been coming around. You've had some pretty big victories over some quality teams, including the Medicine Hat Tigers. You beat them in Medicine Hat last Friday. What are you liking about your game from a coach perspective? Where are the areas that you're starting to see, the strength emerge?
I think with probably the variation that we're able to generate and create offense right now. I think we last year we finished with a really strong rush game, and then this year our rush game was a little bit non-existent, and we were more about an in zone kind of possession game, and we've started to add more of the rush offense as well here, and we're getting scoring. I know our top guys have probably carried the load a little bit, but we've gotten some depth scoring as well here recently, and so I think the offensive side is probably where we're the happiest right now, and as every coach probably would say, the other side of it is where we need to clean some things up probably.
So looking ahead to the Tigers, you've seen them a few times this season. On paper, they're a pretty loaded team. Obviously, I know they've dealt with some injuries, but, they got McKenna, they got some other guys you got to be really leery of. How do you approach a team like that with their potential firepower?
Yeah, I think mentally is the first thing for us is like everybody, especially young players, they look at a roster and kind of make a decision about how the game's going to go. And I think last weekend beating them in Medicine Hat and playing a really strong third period to lock it down was important. I think just to get over the mental hurdle. And I like the way our game matches up against theirs. You always have to be wary of obviously their high-end skill, but they want to play a heavy possession game. And I think we've got some speed and some disruptive pieces to our game that, that benefit us. And I think as long as you're not sitting back and respecting them too much, you give yourself a really good chance right now.
Looking at McKenna, Luke, and, we were talking earlier about Connor McDavid and just, you appreciate great players. Well, young Gavin McKenna, who's not draft eligible until the 2026 NHL draft, is a very special young player. And, he's got 102 shots on goal. Like the guy's averaging over 5 shots a game. So it's not a matter of, you just want to kind of limit him because it's really hard to contain a player like that.
Yeah, he's a unique challenge. There's no question. I think 100 shots on net, and he's probably delivered 150 passes to guys for grade A looks as well. So, I mean, you can try and hunt him and take pucks away from him, but he's able to distribute and find guys in space. I think much like you mentioned, I mean, Connor McDavid's a lofty comparison, but there's some similarities, and he's got lots of elements to his game. You try and take away the passing options, and he can score. And you attack him too hard and too early, he can make plays and makes his line mates better. And it's fun. I think playing against guys like this, we've had the fortune of seeing some really good players through our league recently with obviously Connor Bedard and now Gavin. And, we saw Landon DuPont down on our road trip. It's an exciting time for junior hockey in the West. And, if you haven't had a chance to see, players like that play, I think it's a great opportunity to get out and see that.
When you look at your team, overall, you talk about the defensive side of the game. What about on the offensive side? Sachin, of course, congratulations to him, sign his entry-level deal in the NHL. That's great. But you know what? I know, Luke, when I talked at the start of the season, you felt like, you felt like your team could score. Are you starting to score at the level you thought you're capable of?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're right in that mix. I mean, we call this essentially it's a 4-3 league, and there's not a lot of nights so far in the last few weeks we've been under 4. So I think that's critical for us. And I still believe there's more offense from some guys who've had a bit of a slower start, and the Marshall Finneys and those types of players. But the top end has been really good. And I think you mentioned Gavin McKenna. I think Grayson Sachin right now is as fun to watch as anybody in our league. And he's taken his game to another level. I mean, Miroslav Holinka leads our team with 10 goals. His shot is fantastic. I think it's a pro shot. And, I like the way our offense shapes up. We can score, like I said, in a variety of ways right now. And we'll probably hit a dry spell at some point, as everybody does. But right now, things seem to be going in for us.
Luke Pierce joins us. He is the head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings. They're back in action at home, first time on home ice since October 17th. And they take on the Medicine Hat Tigers tonight. Gavin McKenna, who's the WHL leading scorer so far this season. He has got just 2 points a game, which is pretty impressive so far. Also, he's projected to be the first overall pick in the NHL draft in 2026. Luke, this whole season, after the last few years, you guys felt like, okay, we're kind of done the rebuild, and we're ready to move on up and start challenging and competing and be a playoff team for sure. You're 8-7-1 after a slow start. You've clawed your way back, and you're only 3 points out of 4th place. So you look at it, you're kind of right where maybe you want to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if we put this up at the start of the year and say, considering the travel and the opponents that we've had, I think we're happy probably where we're at. We feel like we're probably 3 more wins in there that we should have had in games that we deserve to win. So I like the way we're at. I think right now for us, it's the mental side of we've got a really tough schedule here, right up until Christmas, and we need to keep ourselves in the hunt there. And the back half, I think, is a little more favorable for us. So it's just keeping the young group and focused on the short-term stuff right now. But overall, yeah, I mean, we always want add more wins to your total here. But I think considering the schedule and the opponents, we're pretty comfortable with where we're at.
Luke Pierce joins us, head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings. Luke, in goal, you've been relying a lot on your veteran Alex Worthington. He started 13 games so far this season for you. Hudson Perry, younger guy, he's not going to get a ton of playing time. How do you find that balance on how many games? Do you have a number in your head on how many games Worthington can start?
Yeah, we've gone through, and especially considering Alex's unique circumstance, he didn't play a lot of games last 2 years, really. So it's being cognizant of that and trying to manage his workload, but also getting him game reps. He needs to see a lot of action, and he's done a good job of handling that. We've tried to mix in Hudson a little bit on some strategic times where it gives Alex multiple days off, but we do feel that at 19 he should be capable of handling the bulk of the load, and probably to start close to 80% of our games this year is realistic. And but we got to find some strategic opportunities there to relieve the pressure from him and get Hudson up and running here.
Well, Luke, best of luck tonight. Happy to be home, I'm sure, and enjoy it. And good luck. Enjoy the game.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Appreciate having me.
There you go. That's Luke Pierce, head coach of the Oil Kings. So, what, Oil Kings fan, you've probably been twitching to go see a game. We'll go tonight, and it's always nice when some of the best players in the game come. It's too bad. The Tigers, they got some injuries to some of their key guys, unfortunately. So that's not ideal, because I remember, Cons, we went to the one of the Oil Kings games against the Medicine Hat Tigers last year, and Caden Lindstrom was playing, and man, he was special to watch for them. Unfortunately, Lindstrom has yet to play a game this season. I know that they're hoping maybe in a bit, but they get him back. He was a 4th overall pick by Columbus this last year. He's a hell of a player. You get him and McKenna. I'll tell you, Medicine Hat would be must watch WHL hockey with those two in the lineup. McKenna himself is pretty impressive. You throw in Lindstrom, and it'd be a hell of a team to watch. And they got a lot of other guys too.
One of the best parts about the dub. And you know what? Wiener Wednesday tonight, Gregor, $2 hot dogs.
Ooh.
You can't really beat that one.
Wow.
Gotta throw that in there. But yeah, seeing those guys come in there that in short order are going to be playing at the NHL level, and a lot of them having success. Just a couple of years ago, it feels like Jake Neighbors, Dylan Gunther, go around the league. Connor Bedard, they're going to be in the NHL. They're going to be great players. You can go watch them now at a lower level, a little bit cheaper, save some money. But almost on a nightly basis, you get a chance to go watch these guys. And yeah, the Medicine Hat Tigers are going to be a very fun team when they get healthy. And McKenna is just the latest superstar in this league. And 4 assists last game? For 3 or 4?
Yeah.
I think they won 8-4. Yeah, he's a fun player to watch.
Oh God, yeah, for sure. So there you go. That's in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. We'll come back after 3:00. We got more. We got a lot of texts. Jeff Skinner. I think it's time to talk about Jeff Skinner. We'll touch on that after a Connor Halley Sports 1440 update, brought to you by Booster Juice. Today is the final day where they celebrate at Booster Juice, their 25th. Now they'll be celebrating all, but the giveaways, 25 days in a row, they are having giveaways, and today the final day. So go to the Booster Juice, get the rewards app, download it. You'll get a code. Put in the code, and that enters you into a draw. Someone's winning a car today, courtesy of Booster Juice, celebrating 25 years.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Busy night in the NHL. Got the Red Wings, Penguins, Caps host the Maple Leafs, Utah taking on the Canes. Kings in Colorado, and the Ducks up against the Golden Knights. Speaking of those Ducks, they lost goaltender James Reimer after the Buffalo Sabres claimed him off waivers. Reimer, 16-year NHL vet, spending time with the Leafs, Sharks, Panthers, Canes, Red Wings, and, of course, Anaheim. In the association, lots of games this evening, including the Magic up against the Pacers. The Celtics are in Brooklyn. Sixers host the Cavs, who are looking to go 13-0 to start the season. Pelicans in OKC. Rockets host the Clippers. The Bucks take on the Pistons. Grizz in Los Angeles to meet the Lakers. And the Trailblazers hosting the Timberwolves. Off the court, Basketball Hall of Famer Greg Popovich has been away from the San Antonio Spurs due to a mild stroke he suffered earlier this month. The team says there's no timeline for a return, but noted he's already started his rehabilitation and is expected to make a full recovery. In the WHL, the Oil Kings back at home tonight hosting Gavin McKenna and the Medicine Hat Tigers. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. Get your tickets at oilkings.ca. And in the BCHL, the 10-7 Sherwood Park Crusaders hosting the 11-4-2 Salmon Arm Silverbacks. That'll start at 7. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear comments from the Oilers and be joined by Kevin Woodley of In Goal Magazine. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
We all live in Canada, right? And we all know it gets cold, right? And every second that ticks by, it gets colder and colder. Well, GS Construction is prepared for that. GS Construction is the group that makes sure all those underground pipes that lead to and away from your home stay flowing. Because pipes freeze. You don't want that. So GS Construction has been hard at work as winter approaches, preparing our underground systems to run smoothly. To find out more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Find the perfect tractor for any job at Edmonton Kubota. Their massive selection of compact tractors has something for everyone, whether you're tackling small tasks or big projects. And right now, take advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. It's never been easier to get the power and reliability you need. Come down to Edmonton Kubota today and drive away with the tractor that's just right for you. Edmonton Kubota, where your perfect tractor awaits.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
One small step for Schwab, one giant leap for Schwab High.
Schwab's has landed the biggest truck sale of the year with Get the Truck Out of Here. Get 0% financing or lease rates as low as 1.9% on 2024 half-ton trucks. You'll be over the moon with employee pricing. Save up to $13,000 on select GMC and Chevy HDs. Plus, get $10,000 cash back. Get the truck out of here. Head to Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
For a silly hockey fan. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
It's after 3 o'clock. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. You can get in the game. Use the promo code in the month of November, Gregor50, and you'll get a $50 free play. Good luck. Maybe you want to take it on McDavid. Over 1.5. Going for 0.1000 tomorrow. Not a bad play. I'll just say that. I outlined it for you earlier. The 3 players who were quicker than McDavid to get to 1,000 points, all of them had at least 3 points in the game they scored their 1,000th point. Not bad. Not bad at all. Mike Bossy, he got 4 points to get to 1,000. Lemieux needed 2. He scored 3. Gretzky needed 1. He scored 6. Yari Curry, the other Oiler, and Messier, both had 3 points when they got 1,000 points. So, just saying. History will tell you the great players, man, they want it, and they are fired up to get it. Now, if you guys aren't fired up, we're gonna I want to talk about this, and I want to get your feedback because something tells me there'll be a lot. Now, we can go for J or S. We are going to have Kevin Woodley on. I know a lot of people were talking about the second goal last night, and they were all upset about. I thought the first goal was the one that the big, to me, concern for Skinner, and Kevin Woodley outlined it last year. Goals off the rush is the biggest struggle east to west for Skinner. Last year, he was top 5 in the NHL on in-zone plays. But off of the rush, that's his weakness. And now here's the thing. The Oilers, I think, know it because they don't give up a lot of them. I think they've given up the fewest scoring chances off the rush. High danger scoring chances off the rush since 22-23, according to Clearsight Analytics. But unfortunately for Skinner, he's given up the most goals. And that's not a good combination. And that goal off the rush last night, to get across that slow, that to me is the concern. Now we're going to have Woodley. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not the goalie expert. That's why we get Woodley on. But we will talk to him about last night. I know there's a lot of people who are upset more about the second goal. And I'm like, I don't really think the second goal is the major issue one. To me, that's a great. I was actually sitting. I was visiting with Turan and them in the GS theater box last night, watching that period, and I had a perfect angle from where I was, right behind the net, just up to the left. And so the rebound kicks out. Now, if you don't like the rebound, we'll talk to Kevin Woodley about the rebound. But the shot itself for Anders Lee, people saying, "Oh, he needs a better glove." You don't take a glove hand and go straight up, right? Your hand's here, you bring it up at a kind of arching angle. He's not getting. That's a perfect shot. It's how Draisaitl scored on Sorokin twice. That's why I've been hammering on the Oilers. They get the pucks upstairs. They got a much better chance of scoring. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Look at some of their chances last night. They came out on Sorokin, had great looks, and fired it right into his pads. Right in. Like, oh, looking 5-hole. You're not scoring 5-hole there. But anyway, back to Skinner. I thought the first goal was the one, to me, that's more concerning. So we'll talk to Kevin Woodley about that. He's coming up, our goalie expert, in, well, the next segment. So let's focus on Jeff Skinner now, because we'll get more to Stu Skinner when Kevin Woodley comes on. I look at Jeff Skinner last night, and obviously the defensive play on the second goal is not good. But the bigger concern to me on Skinner is that the best strength of his game is puck possession. When he gets a puck in a stick, that's when he's the most dangerous. Unfortunately, right now, he's giving the puck away too much when he has it on his stick. That's why I got demoted. I firmly believe it. That's why I got demoted. Now, Cons, do you have Knobloch's answer? Because I asked him about Jeff Skinner. But to me, when I watched Skinner last night, and even in the previous game, he's on the ice with McDavid. The one thing you can't... Now, you're going to give some pucks away. So I want to say you can never do it, because you can't say never. You want to limit your giveaways when you're with McDavid. It's kind of the part of, hey, you get to play with McDavid. We limit giveaways. We don't dump and chase a whole bunch, limit giveaways. That's just how it is. And because if you don't, you're not going to stay there very often. That's just the truth. And Skinner's last few games, to me, and so I don't know if it's a panic, like, oh, I got to get the puck here, I got to make a play because McDavid's on the ice. I don't know. Is it in between his ears? Maybe. But for a player whose best asset is his offensive touch and play with the puck, it's concerning to me how many giveaways he's had. So I asked Knobloch, just what does he need to see from Jeff Skinner?
Just playing hard, playing to our systems, being confident with the puck, playing his game. Right now we're just, the chemistry with the way the lines are and who's playing well right now, and other guys is just elevating their game. And right now he's got to, find his game. Obviously he's a very talented player and can score goals, but sometimes there's a transition period of joining a new team and finding out what's expected and how you fit in. And, there'll be a time, whether it's, after 25 games, after 30, 50, or some point, we're counting on him to be a part of it.
Yeah, he's got to get better. There's no question about it, right? Nugent Hopkins' offensive game got to get better, but Nugent Hopkins is managing the puck is why he'll play ahead of Jeff Skinner on McDavid's line. It's not even the defensive plays. Sure, that helps. Don't get me wrong. But Skinner's management of the puck right now is just simply, it's not good enough at all. And if you're going to play on the top line, you can't have that many giveaways. So I look at Jeff Skinner and, hey, it's a 1-year contract. If they get to the trade deadline and Skinner's game isn't going, I won't be surprised at all that they trade for a forward who's got a cap hit. You got to give up a player or a pick, whatever it is, and Skinner goes the other way just to make the money work. I won't be shocked by that at all. Now, there's time, and I said if Skinner doesn't get his game going. He's never going to be a defensive stalwart at all. I understand that. That's fine. It's not going to be on the ice protecting leads. Okay. But he's been a pretty good scorer, and scoring's still important. But if you're going to be giving the puck away as much as he has lately, because he didn't do it early in the year. I've just noticed in the last few games. And it's specifically, you know what? Giveaways, or you want to talk about giving a coach gray hair at the NHL level. You're consistently giving away the puck. And you're not, if you're producing, guess what? You get more rope. You get more leeway. Because this guy's made a lot of plays. Yeah, okay, turn the puck over here, but look at all the good plays he made. And that's fair. You make the trade to say, okay, if I can handle 1 or 2 giveaways here, but I get 10 or 12 really good plays, I'm taking it all day long. Right now, you're not getting that with Skinner. So he's got to manage the puck a lot better. 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, do you happen to know what McDavid's point breakdown home and away? Is it pretty even or one-sided from Beerman? It's pretty even. He's actually, speaking of even, so he's played 658 NHL games. He's played exactly 329 at home and 329 on the road. He has scored more at home, but 53% of his points come on home ice, 47% come on the road. That's not a massive split, right? It's 465 points on the road, 534 points at home. Lots of guys are like that, right? Historically, teams get more power plays on average, not always, on average at home. Teams score more at home. There's an advantage. You get last change. So 53 to 47, that's pretty close. So yeah, it's not lopsided at all. So hey guys, thoughts of getting a goalie from a rebuilding team like Montreal? Well, I don't think they're going to trade you Montembeault at this point. I'd be surprised. But yeah, I can't rule out anything. I think the Oilers are going to be looking and uncovering every rock possible. There's no doubt in my mind. So, Gregor, the third goal was bad by Skinner. Never a timely save. What? You mean the pinpoint one pass down to the corner, wide open to Anders Lee right in the slot? Nah, I don't know about that. Right? Like, Skinner he has what's called a narrow butterfly. That's who he is. But I don't blame that on the goalie at all. Like, if the Oilers make that passing play, no one's blaming the other goalie. Sometimes it's like, hey, that's a really good play. 3 quick passes, bing, bang, boom, goal. I'm not blaming it on the goalie at all. If he makes the save, it's like, okay, great. But I'm not blaming the goalie on that one at all. And I'm not surprised that the Oilers, look how many times Sorokin was cheating down low before the Oilers shot the puck last night. And look how many times they shot down low. I think there's a little bit of a scouting report right now in the Oilers, and they got to get some guys now to start raising the puck more. It's not lost on me. And I asked Leon Draisaitl about it, and I loved his answer. He goes, I don't really look at scouting reports. I don't scout out the goalies. I play on the flow and the rhythm. And, I talked to him afterwards. He goes, hey, upstairs is open. It's hard to get there sometimes, but that's where the goals are in today's NHL. It's just true. And if the Oilers get a few more guys who can elevate the puck with all the chances they create, their shooting percentage is going to go up. When we come back, Kevin Woodley will break down those goals. How do you improve off the rush? That's the one consistent concern that you've had with Stu Skinner. How can you fix it? We'll find out next. Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Raise the smoothie to any friend you've had since 1999. That's a good friend. And Booster Juice was there, now celebrating 25 years in Canada and more than 450 locations from coast to coast. A silver anniversary splashed with lots of oranges. Celebrate 25 years of Booster Juice with the return of OG favorite smoothies, like the original, the Orangesicle, and the Marathon, made with cranberries, bananas, strawberries, orange sorbet, and probiotic yogurt. Happy 25th Booster Juice. Download the Booster Rewards app today.
When interest rates are low, that's a good time to buy a vehicle. And 0% means it's a great time to buy. Right now, St. Albert Dodge can set you up with 0% financing on hundreds of vehicles. Virtually all new 2024 models. Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0%. Dodge Durango and Hornet. 0%. Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500 trucks, all as low as 0%. Why pay interest? Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
We now have a post-game show on Sports 1440. After the next game, tune in to Andrew Walker as he breaks down the game with you. The post-game show brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I have a startling fact. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 Alberta men. This could be your brother, son, father, grandfather, or friend. This November, through our Keep It in Alberta campaign, we're raising money to build a new man van, bringing free, life-saving prostate cancer testing directly to Alberta men. Thanks to our partner, the Agate Foundation, every donation will be matched up to $350,000, doubling your impact. Be part of the fight to eliminate advanced prostate cancer. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to donate today.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. 2 great names in work and cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has work and cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
They are tasting just right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. This is one big deal for one big pizza. Get an extra large New York style one topping pizza for only $17.99. Order today at papajohns.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.326. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, and lots and lots to chat about. The text line is humming. I knew it. We brought the Skinners, and whoa, gets people fired up. The Simpson line right now, Skinner, is I think, rather impactful on how people are feeling about either one of them. So let's get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your team to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca, as Kevin Woodley from In Goal Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Woodley, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm evidently doing better than the spotlight that is on the goaltenders. And can I ask, having looked back at the game last night, because I was covering the Canucks one, but what exactly it is that has prompted? Is it the overall to this season? I watched the game on Saturday, obviously covered the game on Saturday against the Canucks and didn't mind his game. So what has brought us back to this point? Is it just the overall numbers, or is there something in the last week that's highlighted the focus? Because I think I see progression.
Yeah. Well, I thought the Vancouver game, he was fine. I would agree with you on that. I think the concern is, I like, it's funny. People were all upset about the second goal more. And I'm like, to me, the second goal wasn't the one that raised my concern. It's the first goal that was off the rush. And I know last year you talked about, hey, Stuart Skinner in zone plays, top 5. Off the rush, near the bottom. And I saw Valaket had tweeted out last night that he's actually got the worst numbers of any goalie off scoring, high danger scoring chances off the rush, Kevin. So my question is, what is he doing wrong off the rush, and is it fixable?
Okay, now this is a tough one for me, just because there is no one single answer, right? So, like, I'm not a goalie coach. I'm not the one to tell him exactly what he's doing wrong. But if we break down the first goal last night, I think you can point to some things that is fair to question. And one of the reasons we started pro reads over at In Goal Magazine was because we didn't think it was fair to make assumptions on what a goalie was seeing and why they played it a certain way. So we wanted to ask them. So, I mean, the perfect world, I have the opportunity to ask him this. But when you take a look at that play, as it comes over the blue line off the rush, if you look at where he positions himself, by the time it gets off the turnover through the neutral zone, by the time the initial shot that threat gets towards the top of the circle, Jason, he is at least, heels are 2 feet outside of the blue paint, right?
Okay.
We've heard him talk about how he worked on his skating this summer, and I had a conversation with him what that meant on Saturday when he was here in town. A great conversation. But at the end of the day, when your rush numbers, when your odd man rush in particular, and rush chances that result in lateral plays east-west, as Valaket pointed out, are where they are, from the outside, I would look at this and say, okay, did he have no chance to get across? Because the guy made a good shot on the other side of it, right? Palmieri makes a good shot off the other side of this pass. Or is this one, because I used to hate that whenever announcers on TV would say the goalie didn't have a chance, I wanted to rewind it and say, did he not have a chance, or did he not give himself a chance? And in this case, I think it's fair to say that he didn't give himself the best chance because of the initial depth he takes. So being a 1.5 feet, 2 feet outside of the crease on the left, means that much further he's got to travel to get on angle and work back towards his post on the short side, which is Palmieri shoots it because of that depth. For every foot we take on one side, it's 2 feet further we have to travel back to the other side, right? So that would be my first question. Now, maybe his initial read on the rush, there's 2 ways this goes. One, he didn't pick up the trailer. He locked in on the shooter right away. Either A, trusted his defense to take away the backside shot, or B, didn't realize it. So that's the first thing. Like, when you have the success he's had in zone, especially the second half of last year from November 15th on, he was really solid. But as I said at the time, his numbers were terrible through the coaching change because he wasn't great off the rush and they were giving up so much. But even as they became one of the best rush defenses in hockey, when they did give it up, the results didn't necessarily improve. It was just we didn't see it anymore. So I don't say it masked it. It's just it wasn't an issue because there weren't that many of them. So the first step would be to take a step back. And again, oversimplifying. I'd like to know what his read is on this. And is there a reason he takes this much ice? And I'm guessing he has an answer for it. But at the end of the day, when you're that big and when you're so good spot to spot and not necessarily a backwards flow, like that skating and movement is not your strength, even if you worked on it in the summer, that would be the first thing. Like, I can make this a shorter push. I don't know that at his size and I think he's got decent hands. I don't know that you need to be out that far in the initial shooter anyways, at any point, frankly. I mean, I just had this conversation around Dustin Wolf's game. And think about how much smaller Dustin Wolf is.
Right.
And the stereotype that comes with a small goalie is they've got to be out and challenge. I can guarantee you will almost never find Dustin Wolf this far outside of his net for the Calgary Flames, unless it is a one-on-one, no other option situation. And so maybe that's what Skinner read here. But as soon as that pass is made, he strands himself. And then the second part of it is he sort of gets into his low, wide safe stance right as the guy turns to pass it. And and once you do that, as soon as you're low and wide, you're a little locked in and it becomes a tougher movement. And that's where it looks awkward, right? The right leg sticks out. And he basically, rather than just, again, top down, drop the knee, rotate and push across, he basically does a backward C cut to get himself across. And it looks like a movement that wastes motion and wastes time. Some goalies, though, use it successfully as a momentum build. Use that inside skate, carving it around to get themselves on angle and give themselves a little momentum in that direction. Now, again, that's a style, that's a personal preference thing. I've watched Kevin Lankinen actually use the reverse C cut to make some incredible saves this year here in Vancouver. I just think that with the size of Stewart and given where his strengths are, I'm not sure you want to be in a position that far out of your crease where you need to make a maneuver like that. But that's me as an outside observer. It's really easy from 1,000 feet looking at replays from my couch to say that. I think at the very least, it's a fair question to ask. Like, hey, if you had that backdoor read earlier, would you have taken less ice? Almost like you're not going to be Henrik Lundqvist. You're not going to be Mike Smith. But a little more inside out, sit in a spot and wait for it to come to you with less backwards flow, rely less on that skating, and use your size a little more as a strength. And when the numbers, as Valaket pointed out, are what they are off east-west plays off the rush, I think it's fair to ask the questions about the approach. And then you'll get the answers about whether it's read or whether it's a tactical issue.
Kevin Woodley from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com joins us. So you move to the second goal, Kev, and, there's a big breakdown in the slot, dance around 2 orders, bad defensive play. I loved Anders Lee's shot. Some guys make a good shot, like Draisaitl made a great shot twice in that game, beat a goalie who was red hot. So I have no problem. Now, it's the rebound where everyone's like, well, he kicked out the rebound. So I've never played goal. So I'm like, when you watch that initial shot, is that a terrible rebound? What goes through a goalie in that situation on the second goal?
Well, I mean, I think once the guy walks inside the dot like that, your first instinct is save. Perfect world, you get a stick on it, you steer it off the glass, right? But as soon as you make a pad save, you're risking a rebound. And I think actually on that one, he got a bit of a tough break. Again, we've talked about the narrow butterfly and the limitations that come with it. And one of them is control off the rebounds. And so because you're facing that and your pads aren't sort of squared up to that initial shot, like they're not, your feet aren't way out wide with a big wide butterfly flare to make it easier to keep in front of you. you're trying to basically get that with the shin of your pad and redirect it into the corner.
Okay.
And it's from that range in that shot, like that's your intent. It looked to me like it caught the seam of the shin and the boot, which is that bottom of the pad that sits over the skate. And as soon as you get into the boot, it's a more unpredictable, and actually not only more unpredictable, but it's typically a softer rebound. So I think like he just missed it by a hair. Like if that hits the shin, it's got more pace because of the materials that his pad in particular is made with there, and it shoots into the corner and it's safe. Because it goes off the boot, it kind of kills it a little bit and puts it into a dangerous area. And it almost looked like it was the boot shin seam. And that's just that's a little bit of a, when things are not going your way, they tend to keep going the other way. And I mean, I didn't mind that, but again, like biomechanically, there's limitations to a narrow butterfly. We talked a lot about with Ilya Samsonov in Toronto, and this is the reality of sort of not having that big wide flare is, the risk of not getting it flush off the shin because you don't have as much shin of the pad actually facing the shooter.
So if he decided to change and go to a wider butterfly, how big of a change is that for a goalie? And is that something that can be made in season, or is that career? Like, is that just, this is who you are? You're either a narrow stance, you're wide stance. You can't just come to the NHL and change. How does it work?
I mean, you constantly work on your body and try and improve the mobility of your hips, but essentially, like the hips were not designed to internally rotate. There's only so much flair different guys have. Like Jaguar was always a narrow butterfly guy. He just didn't have that in his bag. Samsonov, same thing. Now, you can do different things with your equipment to loosen it up. Like Samsonov, I used to say for years, wore his pads so bloody tight that it actually restricted the width of his butterfly. I don't think that's an issue for Stewart. I just think this is his body. And I'm sure he'll keep, and I'm sure he's done things to continue to widen it out a little bit. But he's never going to be a guy, like I watch Kevin, Kevin Lankinen, just a guy I'm watching all the time. Like he can actually drop into a butterfly and his pads, like they don't just go straight across. They actually invert like in an inverted V towards him. And
so that's Stewart,
that's body. That's biomechanics. That's who you are.
Yeah, that's who you are. So that you can't, people out there, you just got to change. I wanted to ask that question because if it was that simple to just change it, everybody would do it. There's got to be, some people are just constructed different than others.
You can set up your equipment to help. Alex Lyon does it. He wears his pads so bloody loose that if you think about it, like if your body and your feet tuck behind you in a narrow butterfly, which also delays your side to side movement because you have to get that foot out from behind you to grab an edge to push. It's just the reality of it. And Lyon wears his pad so loose on his toes that at least the pad allows to sort of sit forward and create a bit more of a wider butterfly. But it's such a personal preference thing. There are a lot of guys that just couldn't imagine being that disconnected between their legs and the pad itself. So, I mean, he could loosen it a little bit, but that for a lot of guys, it would just feel so awkward that it, it does more harm than it does good.
Okay. Kevin Woodley joins. And on the third goal is tic-tac-toe goal. That's the narrow butterfly again. I'm like, people say, you got to make a save there. I'm like, I guess so, but I don't like if to me, you're trying
low, high, and lateral. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Low, high, like that's low, high laterals. That's a great offensive play. And it's extremely hard to defend as a goalie.
It's one of the number one high dangers. And I was trying to see the replays and look at it closely. It went in along the ice, Jason, if I'm not mistaken. And that's where, and that's where it looks tougher. Like, again, it's a harder look. But again, like a guy with a wider flare has more coverage along the ice, right? And this is where he gets caught on a lot of the lateral stuff. The one against Vancouver, he made a fantastic east-west save on a backdoor earlier in the third period. But when you're in a hurry and it's like bang, bang, and you just got to go and you don't have that flare, like as you move across, like you lose that seal, you come off the ice. It looks like more of a lunge. And that's where sometimes you see that little pitch forward, like just biomechanically, your hips don't extend in a way that allows you to reach and flush at the same time. So the pad comes off the ice and it becomes more of that lunging motion, as opposed to other guys get a little bit of a push and a slide across. The delay of having to sort of take that skate when you're in the butterfly on your knees, and narrow butterfly means your feet are behind you more than a wider guy. So to get that push edge to go to your left, I have to establish that right skate, which means I've got to get it out from behind me first. And it adds an extra movement. It's harder to maintain a flush, and it creates more coverage issues down low. And it's just the reality. And it's not a reality anybody was worried about when he was headed to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final last year. I do think some of his in-zone stuff, the numbers are down this year. The rush stuff is what it is. And It hasn't been exceptional for a while. We've talked about it. We haven't hid from it. I do think tactically and read-wise, you can look at video like that, and I'm sure they do, and they say, hey, why did you take this ice on this one? Is there a reason? And they probably go through it, and it's like, yeah, like I had the read, and my guy's supposed to have that guy, and this was the right read in the moment. Or, no, I need to stay back here a little bit and give myself a chance on that pass going through. And I don't know what that conversation looks like because I haven't had a chance to ask it, but I guarantee you those are the conversations that are going on, and they need to go on because getting caught that far out in an era where even the smallest, fastest goalies don't take that much ice creates fair questions.
Kevin Willey from Ingo Magazine and NHL.com joins us. Kev, you mentioned Lankinen. You know what? He was great till he got against the Oilers. They spanked him. Fatigue a factor at all? Are they overplaying him in Vancouver?
I do wonder that a little bit. It certainly looked like it in the third period of that game. It got away from him. I mean, the two low danger goals, even the one off the rush low blocker in the second period was uncharacteristic. His blocker side numbers have been fantastic. Two things happen when you play a whole bunch. One, you lose the ability to sort of manage your body and manage your rest and manage your game. And Lankinen has not missed a beat in practice, has not missed a rep in goalie skates. He's not totally new to this, but relatively new to this workload. I didn't think he looked tired at the beginning of the game, but by the end, as a couple uncharacteristic low danger chances go through him, under him, beat him clean, ultimately get him the hook.
Like the Brett Kulak goal, honestly, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how that puck went in. Like on an NHL goalie, that I was just like, wow, what happened there? You don't see
it
that.
Went right underneath him, right? I almost wondered. I mean, in the third period, with that many goals, I'm up there writing frantically. I almost wondered if, as he dropped into the butterfly, his pad landed on his stick, which can prevent that sort of low ice seal. It happens to me a lot more than it does to NHL goalies because I have, guess what, a narrow butterfly. My pad sticks straight out in front of me, and they catches the stick every once in a while, and it's a terrible feeling. But I didn't have a chance to ask him that. At the end of the day, I was a little surprised. They sent Artur Shilovs down to the American Hockey League on Sunday, got him a start against Abbotsford. I thought they might bring him right back up and start him against Calgary last night, a game where the Flames were playing on back-to-back nights, their 5th and 8 nights in 5 different cities. Just, I couldn't believe they had a 3-game road trip, one stop in Calgary and the next night in Vancouver. It almost felt like cruelty the way their schedule's done. Now they don't play once in the next 6 days, but to me, that was a scheduled loss. I thought they might give that to Shilovs to try and get his feet under him again and give Lankinen a rest. Lankinen did not take any extra days off. He practiced on Monday. He skated on Tuesday. Sorry, practiced on Sunday, practiced on Monday, skated on Tuesday. So I just think it's easier for them to look at his pace, which is upper, like in the 60s right now. He's playing at a 60-plus game pace, and say, if he was our number one guy all year, we'd be worried about this. But the reality is Demko's coming back. And so he's going to get plenty of rest. And so in the short term, they're not worried about it. I'm curious. Head coach Rick Tocchet hinted at Artur Shilovs maybe getting a start tomorrow night against the New York Islanders. So we'll see what happens there. And then they have, again, odd scheduling, back-to-back games at home on Saturday and Sunday, Chicago, and then Nashville. I would think absolutely Artur Shilovs gets one of those. Tuesday against the Rangers, and then they head out on the road where it's very possible Thatcher Demko makes his return. Nothing written in stone. They're being very careful with it, but at least possible. And in that case, even if Lankinen's at a 65-game pace by then, you're going to have plenty of opportunity to rest him. The bigger question to me, actually, long-term is, do they send Shilovs down to the minors? Because they've hinted to insiders and people that they tend to, whisper things to, that they were very comfortable keeping 3 goalies all year in order to load manage Thatcher Demko, fly him out, as many other teams have done. It's not new. You're on the road. You've got 3 goalies. You fly he's not playing on a Saturday night, but you play the next night the next night in another city. You fly him ahead rather than having him on the late night charter. Really load manage him, and that's great in theory, and I applaud it. But you cannot cost Artur Shilovs another season without playing. He already lost almost an entire season during the pandemic. We only played a handful of games at the end of the year in the ECHL. Reps are what he needs. We know what the physical talent is. And so they've got a big decision coming. And honestly, if they keep him around as a third and all he does is practice, I think it's very much the wrong one for his future.
Okay. I like it. Kev, great breakdown as always, my man. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Yeah. Hey, and just let me say, we pick these nits, and it's really easy to quarterback Monday morning QB on these things. there's a reality in real time. These decisions are made based on a number of factors. And that's why I think we have to ask the goalies what they were seeing there. But I think in this case, it's fair to ask. It just feels sometimes like we're piling on, and that's certainly not what I mean.
No. I just say,
I believe in Stewart.
Yeah, I think off the rush, though, it's funny. People complain about Stuart Skinner playing too deep in his net, and funny enough, it's when he's out too far off the rush that's hurting him. As you outlined the fact, when you're out too far, now you have way more room to have to cover to go across. And so it's actually not, because you outlined it last year, he was top 5 on in-zone plays, and that's where he's normally deeper in his net. Those are just facts. It's not that Stuart Skinner plays too deep. It's sometimes he plays too far out off the rush.
Yeah, and this is like, it's the Lundqvist approach is inside out. Now, you don't go to your goal line, but again, just like, it's really hard. It's easy to say, like, just sit back and wait for it. And then when the pass goes, boom, it's a shorter movement. You're on angle, you're square. It's easier. But not every goalie is sort of cut out mentally for that approach mindset-wise. And I don't know, as easy as I make it sound, I really don't know if it's a snap your fingers adjustment for the goalie himself. I don't think that's fair, but it's at least a fair question to ask.
So I do have to ask you this then, because we have a lot of people who they always want to blame the goalie coach of the goal. So when, like, is the goalie coach coaching you think to go out that far, or is that something where you just sometimes the goalie just loses, his spacing and you're an inch or two out? Like the goalie coach doesn't play the game; he can't hold your hand in game.
And
but
that's where you have to ask about the read. Yeah. I don't see, and again, I should ask him myself, but to be fair, but I just. It's a fair question. If they are trying to have him play, I just can't see it. I really doubt that the play there is like, hey, Stu, go take 2 feet of ice with a backdoor threat on the other side. I think that's probably just a read that got away from him. And again, that backdoor threat was late coming. It was a quick turnover and quick developing play. And he just may not have had that awareness that pass option was there, or even differently. Maybe, 2 guys kind of cut over to the guy with the puck. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're just trusting one of them to take away that backdoor option and saying, okay, my job is to stop this initial shooter. I'm going to take a step and do that and do my job. I'm trusting my other guys to do the other thing.
Yeah, that's great, because it's never as simple as they would like to say. And obviously on replay, it looks great. And so I like to have you on, Kev, because you understand the position and you can break it down for a lot of us who don't really get all the ins and outs of the goalie position. So thanks as always, my man. We'll talk to you Monday.
I appreciate it. I can't wait to go on Twitter and be called an apologist now.
But I just remember, Twitter isn't real life. Don't worry about it. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation YouTube. In fact, all I know is we get a ton of texts from people like, man, he makes me understand the position more. You have a lot of people who have never played goal who will write like they actually understand the position with so strong conviction. Skinner plays too deep. Well, all the numbers say actually when he plays deep, that's when he's best. No, but he still plays too deep. Oh, but where's his area of weakness? Oh, it's off the rush. Why? Because sometimes he takes too much ice. So he's actually too far out. So the thing that gets repeated by many people is, oh, he plays too deep in his net. And that's not the area that's hurting him. He might let in a goal sometimes because he's deep, but everybody forgets the 45 saves he made prior when he was deep. Right now, Skinner, you just heard it from Kevin Woodley. I don't think you're coached to say, hey, give 2 extra feet of ice and so then it's harder to make that save. No one's coaching you that way. And I know everybody always wants to blame the goalie, but the goalie coach, just like the defense coach, just like the shooter coach, you can coach them, but ask anybody who's ever coached at I don't care. You could coach Division 6. You can coach tier AAA. You can set up the right play, tell, hey, guys, in this situation, this is what we want to do. And the game comes on, and all of a sudden, they react different than what they're coached. So does that mean you're bad coaching? Or guess what? Some players in the moment are going to make right decisions, and they're going to make wrong decisions. In that case, took too much ice, wrong decision. And then Kevin explained some of the other options. Did he think the defenseman was going to take him? So he's focused on the shooter. It's a good thing to ask, and I'll ask Stu tomorrow when I see him. Take a quick break. We'll return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 Select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire, we're on this road together.
Ready to tackle your toughest tasks? Edmonton Kubota has you covered with the all-new M8 Series tractor. With powerful 181 and 201 horsepower engines, Cummins power, and loader readiness, it's built to handle any challenge. And now, for a limited time, get a free 4-year extended warranty when you drive off with an M8 Series tractor. Don't miss out on this unbeatable offer. Visit Edmonton Kubota today and power up your productivity. Edmonton Kubota, where power meets performance.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
We now have a post-game show on Sports 1440. After the next game, tune in to Andrew Walker as he breaks down the game with you. The post-game show brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk, elevate your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Gateway Toyota treats us like we're precious gems.
Because that's what we are.
Every vehicle purchased from Gateway Toyota includes enrollment into their GEM program. It stands for Gateway Exclusive Membership.
And it gives you 5-year access to over $2,500 in benefits.
Free oil changes.
Free tire and windshield repair.
Free car washes.
Even an annual detailing.
You'll also get special discounts, trade-in bonuses, and referral rewards.
I feel like a gem.
At Gateway Toyota, just off Calgary Trail at Ellerslie Road. Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at Cantork.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.353. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook. How you doing? A lot of text flying in, 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I think Stu Skinner's still young and still has a lot to improve. He's basically his third year, hoping he becomes Corey Crawford type. Don't remember what his numbers had early on, but he seemed to be better in the playoffs, which is where goaltending matters more. That one comes from Drew. Yeah, well, Corey Crawford, it turned out to be a pretty good goaltender, no question about it. But it wasn't always seamless. It wasn't right away. And, if he could be Corey Crawford, then they'd be pretty happy. Now, I have to look stylistically, is he the same? Right? And, Corey Crawford, here's the other thing. Corey Crawford, when he got up, he played 4 years in the American League and then came to the Blackhawks after they won the Cup. And he had been up, as a backup with that team. And then he became the starter, and he is .903 his second year. Third season when they won the cup, he was pretty solid in the regular season, solid in the playoffs. So yeah, he had a really good stretch there from like he was like for 6 years. I think he went between like 926 to 929. Now that was also in a little bit of the low scoring era of the NHL. If you go back and look at goals per game in those stretches, so goalies had higher numbers. So no, I don't think many goalies nowadays with goals being up are we going to see 918, 926. They'll be the odd guy, but not many. Right. And Corey Crawford was good. I'm not sure Corey Crawford was elite. He was on a pretty good team at a time where goal scoring was lower than it was now. So we can't just look at save percentage. You'd have to dig deeper, look at expected save percentage, a few other things on that. But I think if your point is, Stu Skinner's still young, 100%. 100%. Now, I don't know. Like, if I had to bet, I'd say he won't be elite because there's very few elite guys. Very few elite guys. Like I said last year, his last 50 games last season, he only played 57. So that's a pretty big portion of the season was excellent. Like outstanding numbers. Top 7 across the board. So I'd say that's pretty good. This year, nope. Vancouver game, I thought he's fine. Last night, they won the game. As we talked with Kevin, first goal is probably the bigger issue. He doesn't have, and Kevin's a goalie analyst. No offense, I'm going to trust his analysis of it. Second and third goals, he didn't have much issue with at all. First goal, sure. Hey, Gregor, if you think Skinner being too out is an issue, then how's that not something Schwartz is seen and working on? What do goalie coaches work on? If not, let your goalies know maybe they're playing too far out from Jay. Well, Jay, did you hear Kevin Woodley? He just said, you're not coached to take out the space. So in that moment, when you make a read in the play as a goalie, the goalie coach can't do anything. The goalie coach can't play the game. They can work on it. Hey, you know what? Don't take so much crease here. All right. Or sorry, don't take too much ice. But if the goalie decides in that moment, when on a quick turnover, a quick transition, well, he reads the play one way. There's nothing the goalie coach can do at that point. Nothing. You could have coached all the things you want to do. It doesn't mean the player does it in the game. Especially at the end. The game is so damn fast. It's a split-second decision. And if you make the wrong split-second decision, guess what? You're out of position. And I coach. Now, not at a high level at all, U13. And I see it in my players all the time. We work on specific things over and over again in practice. And then you get in a game, and guess what? Now the game, a little bit higher intensity. Right? It's not practice. The other team's coming at you harder. And when we try to instruct, hey, we don't want to make this play at this point of the ice, they still make that play at the point of the ice because they're learning. Now, does that mean I'm a terrible coach because, well, the kid just dumped it up the middle when we said, please don't dump it up the middle? I don't think so. But you have to accept that players are going to see what they see on the ice in that moment. And we heard from Kevin Woodley. He doesn't believe any coaches out there saying take two more feet of ice. So I think the criticism, and we still get texts, just see how good Devin Dubnyk was once he left Dustin Schwartz. I'm like, it's amazing because he never played when Dustin Schwartz was the coach. But people will still continually, 10 years later, be texting this show believing the Dustin Schwartz coach Devin Dubnyk. So guess what? It doesn't matter what we say. You're never going to change your mind because you'll believe things that aren't even true or want to use them to defend your point. It's a stunning thing. Most people, truthfully, who hate Dustin Schwartz don't know anything about the goalie position or goalie coaching. But they just hate him because they're like, wow, he's been here a long time and we've never had an elite goalie. So it must be the goalie coach. Goalie coaches don't make elite goalies. Right? They don't. Shesterkin's goalie coach left. How's he doing? Pretty damn good, right? It's just, it's too convenient to always want to blame the goalie coach. And on a young goaltender, I think the expectations are borderline asinine on what people expect from Stu Skinner. Who expects him to be elite? Last year, he had a really good season, save for 7 games to start the regular season. Other than that, he was elite numbers. led in wins, top 7 or 7th in expected save percentage, 6th in goals against, 5th in save percentage. What more do you want? Well, he had a few bad games against Vancouver, so that means he stunk. Yeah, but it doesn't matter what he did. I didn't like the game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup final. Doesn't matter that our top gunners didn't score a point in game 6 or 7. But hey, Stuart Skinner didn't allow a goal I like, so now he's terrible. Like, I don't know where the line is because it seems to move all the time. Skinner, first goal, off of the rush. That's an area of concern that they're still working on. And as Connor Halley shows you, one of the best goalies in the game, got absolutely lit up in the playoffs. As Kevin Woodley outlines, every goalie has a weakness. And if you can exploit it in the playoff series, you can win. So is Connor Halley a terrible goalie because he got lit up by Colorado? I don't think so. Right? It's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes maybe the goalie doesn't play well. That's fair. And Stuart Skinner on that first goal last night did not read it well, took too much ice, gave up a goal. Fair to say. But that doesn't mean he's terrible, and it doesn't mean he'll never improve. There's two different things. As Kevin Woodley outlined, who studies the goalies, goes, I've actually seen pretty big progression in Stuart Skinner from the start of the season. So there you go. Now, Jeff Skinner, unfortunately, I haven't seen a lot of progression. I've actually seen more regression. And in areas that are kind of surprising to me because it's his possession with the puck. He's turning the puck over too much. His defensive play in the second goal, we all thought it was terrible, right? I think we all agree. But it's his giveaways with the puck in the first period that cost him a spot on the first line. And if Jeff Skinner's doing that, that's a real problem because that's supposed to be the strength of his game. Handling the puck, making plays. If he's not doing that, yoza. So that's why he finds himself right now on the fourth line. Now, he might be on the second line next because Arvidsson's 50-50 for tomorrow night for the Edmonton Oilers. That's the news of the day. Did not practice, maintenance day. Knobloch said he's 50-50. They'll make a decision. They'll either go 11-7. Either Arvidsson will play or they'll recall another forward. But we'll find out tomorrow on him. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They make your seasonal tire changeover hassle-free by offering convenient tire storage services. When you switch your winter tires, they'll store your summer tires for you. Go to fountaintire.com and find a location near you.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Tonight on the ice in the NHL, I got the Ducks taking on the Golden Knights. Kings in Colorado, Utah hosting the Hurricanes. The Maple Leafs travel to DC, take on the Caps, and the Penguins host the Red Wings in the Association. It's a busy one. You got the Pacers in Orlando. Nets host the Celtics. Cavs taking on the Sixers. Rockets host the Clippers. The Bucks meet the Pistons. Warriors up against the Spurs. And the Kings taking on the Suns. The Edmonton Oil Kings back in town. They will host Gavin McKenna and the Medicine Hat Tigers. Puck drop 7 o'clock. Tickets at oilkings.ca. It's Winter Wednesday, $2 hot dogs. Also in the BCHL, you got the 10-7 Crusaders hosting the 11-4-2 Salmon Arm Silverbacks. That'll get going just after 7. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by CFL legend Ricky Ray, Tyler Yaremchuk of Oilers Nation, and we'll ask 5 questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Oodle Noodle origins.
In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Oodle met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as
Oodle Noodle.
Mr. Rooter plays a video game.
This is wonderful. A world where a plumber is the hero. My hat is off to you, Mario. Although I personally advise against eating any mushrooms found in a drain pipe. I won't make that mistake twice. All I've got to do now is hop over this Goomba and save the princess. What? No way. I pressed jump.
For a super plumber with an all-time high score, call Mr. Rooter.
You've heard people say dream big and think about your future. Well, at GS Construction, we live by those words every day. You see, GS Construction lays pipes in the underground systems in your area. So we don't just think about today. We think about tomorrow and the future of Edmonton's communities and neighborhoods, the places we call home and the places we will call home. We're there when new neighborhoods are developed and return when it's time to replace them. For more on what we do, go to gsconstruction.ca.
Often when I meet people at a party or I'm hanging out at my favorite restaurants, I'll introduce myself and they'll say, "Oh, you're Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. What can I do about this sore knee? It's been bugging me for months." First, I was thinking, when I'm out like this, I should just tweet my location so people know where to come for a consultation. But then I thought, I'm spending all this money on advertising Leading Edge. Maybe you could come by one of our clinics. That's where we have the technology and really smart physiotherapists who can give you all the advice and treatment you need. Have your people call my people, leadingedgephysio.com.
As an Albertan, you expect the challenge of icy roads, but what you may not expect is Cross Mitsubishi helping you gear up for winter with winter tires. And now, for a very limited time, you'll receive a set of winter tires for free with your purchase. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. All from the home of the 10-10-10 warranty and Western Canada's largest 2024 Mitsubishi inventory, Cross Mitsubishi. Get your free winter tires now and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Avenue and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. The team in Old Strathcona have special training dedicated to reducing the impact of cancer care before, during, and after your diagnosis. From lymphedema to the management of fatigue and side effects of chemotherapy and radiation, they can help. Learn more at leadingedgephysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Lovely Wednesday afternoon. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. Also, big reminder, starting next Wednesday, we're going to introduce a new segment that we're going to do every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. The Business of Sports. And we'll have lots of, I'm going to have a co-host who's been around the sporting world for a long time, for just in that segment alone. And because we had him on, and the feedback we had when people really enjoyed his perspective and kind of the stories that he talked about. And so we'll be bringing that, but more of a business side of sports every Wednesday, starting at next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So you might want to tune into that. So should be good. Looking forward to it. Now, let's talk a little football. Of course, it is Grey Cup week as we get to our football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home of the no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. Also, good tickets for tonight's Lotto 649 at playalberta.ca. We are joined by a gentleman who owns the passing yard record for 2 franchises in the CFL. He is second all-time in completion percentage. He's won 4 Grey Cups, passed for over 60,000 yards, 40,531 of them came as a member of the Green and Gold, where he won some Grey Cups early in his career, then late in his career, won 2 with Toronto, where he passed for over 20,000 yards. CFL Hall of Famer Ricky Ray joins us. Ricky, welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. It's Grey Cup week, man. Thanks for having me on. Can't wait to talk about it a little bit.
Now, are you going to the Grey? Do you still go periodically? Are you going this year?
I'm not going this year. We thought about it because it's in Vancouver on the West Coast here. So it wouldn't have been that bad of a trip, but just had too much going on with the kids and stuff. So not going to be able to make it this year.
Okay.
It's been a bit though. I haven't been to a Grey Cup, I think since we played in it, but we try and get up for a game every summer. This year we were in Toronto for a game and Montreal for a game. So it's always good to get up there and see a game in person.
Now, when you went to your 5 Grey Cups, right? 5 or 4-1, I think, in Grey Cups.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to the Spirit of Edmonton room?
I did. Yes.
Okay.
I did, during the week, Grey Cup week, you always have family and, people coming in to watch the game. And I tried to get over to the Spirit, every time I was in the Grey Cup. And it's just a good way to kind of take your friends and family and kind of show them around a little bit. Obviously, I was there early in the night, wasn't there late in the night. But you try and enjoy Grey Cup week as much as you can, but make sure you're focused on your preparation and doing what you need to do to make yourself confident for the game and what you've been doing all year.
And so I want to go back to a young Ricky Ray in 2002, your first year. Boom, you're going, to the Grey Cup, and it's pretty impressive. Obviously, unfortunately, you guys lost that one. But what did you learn the first Grey Cup that allowed you to be better or maybe more prepared in your 2nd through 5th Grey Cups?
Yeah, I think just having the experience, just going through the whole process and, knowing that, it was a close game. We came back and had a 2-point play to tie the game. And unfortunately, I threw an incomplete pass trying to hit Terry Vaughn in the flat. But it just kind of gives you that confidence. Hey, I can play a good game in the Grey Cup and the biggest game of the year. And, if I'm ever back here, I feel like I can handle that moment, handle that game. And luckily for us, we were right there back in it the next year in 2003.
Yeah, that was probably nice to get back to it right away. And you had a very veteran group, Ricky, when you came in, which can be good on one side, but also maybe intimidating on the others. Yet to earn the respect of your veterans, and we've talked to many of the guys on both sides of the ball, and you did that early on. You always from the outside seem like Mr. Calm. Were you always that calm on the inside?
Not always. I mean, that's just was my personality. I always looked calm. I always tried to stay calm in the moment. I tried to just be even keel out there. I felt like I played my best when I did that. And it kind of took the pressure off of me. I felt like I could just go out there and just focus on, one play at a time and be kind of the same guy out there. And, that's just what made me confident out there on the field. But definitely lots of times, you're, facing self-doubt. You're nervous. I got nervous, all the time before games, my first year all the way to my last year playing. And, all those emotions are going inside of me, but I just, didn't show them outwardly.
Yeah. And so you were able to kind of at least look calm. Obviously, I get guys are fired up and, you're very emotional, but how did you learn to control that? Like, was that something you always had, or who kind of helped you do that? Because to me, that's a massive skill set that gets overlooked in pro sports.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, I think it depends on just what your natural personality is. That just came natural to me. I was always kind of like that. Like I said, it just made me confident. I mean, there's been plenty of other players that were way more fiery and, that did well. I mean, I think of guys like, Tiger Woods or Tom Brady or some of those guys that are a little bit more fiery out there. And that's what worked for them. So, I mean, my advice for anybody would just be, do what's natural to you and what helps you play your best. Obviously, if something's not working, maybe try something different. But, that's just what worked best for me.
One of your former teams, Toronto, they lose their starting quarterback in the East final. It's like worst case scenario, I would think, for any team. to do that heading into a championship game. And, now you're going to have to go to your backup. How much, Ricky, can you change the game plan? Because every quarterback has different strengths, right? So, they still have a system they're going to run, but I'm guessing there's going to be certain plays they're going to want to call more now than they would have before, just because the comfort level of their quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you have your same, plays that you're going to kind of look at to run and put into the game plan, but you got to have some good communication with the quarterback on what he feels good about, what he feels confident about, because that's what you want him to be out there on the field, is to be able to make confident decisions. And so there's probably a lot of that communication going on throughout the week. Sometimes coaches put in a play that, may look real good to them and probably is a good play, but the quarterback just, doesn't see it very well or doesn't execute it very well. So you got to be careful when you call some of those plays and maybe go to something that, the quarterback is more comfortable doing. So there's going to be a good balance of that. And I guess Coach Dinwiddie's got a little experience with that. He had to start in the Grey Cup when Kevin Glenn got hurt, I think back in the early or mid 2000s.
Yep.
And so he's got experience stepping in and playing in the biggest game of the year as a backup.
And when you look at Nick Arbuckle and then, you look at the styles of the quarterbacks, do you see things that Toronto's offense will look to run more because that's the strength of Arbuckle's game?
I don't know what his strengths really are because, I'm not in there watching the film and haven't watched him enough to see what he's done well. But the one thing is he's got experience. He's got experience with some starts in this league. So it's not like a guy that has limited playing time is coming in to play in the biggest game. He's got playing time under his belt. So now it's just about getting him confident and going out there and playing with the plays that he feels really good about and trying to get him into a good rhythm to start the game.
Ricky Ray joins us. Grey Cup week. The Bombers, 5 consecutive Grey Cups. You went. Your team went 3 out of 4, and the one you didn't go, that's when you took a year in New York with the Jets. So you know how hard it is to get back every year. How impressed are you the fact that the Bombers, this is 5 years in a row they've gone to the final?
Yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. The thing that's so impressive is they haven't had really any of those bad games. If you look at the Toronto-Montreal matchup, last year, Toronto had a really bad game. I think they had like 6 or 7 turnovers in the East Final, and Montreal took advantage of that and went to the Grey Cup and won. And then this year, it almost flipped back around where Montreal had a bunch of those turnovers in that game. And so when you look at what Winnipeg's been able to do, it's just how to be so consistent in those games. You got to play good games to win those, and they've been able to go out there and execute and play really well in all those games, and have been able to get to the Grey Cup. So that's what's most impressive.
Ricky, from afar, you watch the green and gold and where they've gone, and you know what? When you came in, right, everybody heard about the Eskimo way, and it was a team that was very competitive and professional, and that continued on throughout your tenure. Although at the end, not by your power, but by some other decisions, the organization kind of started to wane a bit. And then Ed Hervey came back, and they were solid again, and now it's been a real struggle. A guy well, Chris Morris, is the new president and CEO. He's a fiery guy, very passionate. He spoke about wanting to bring back, a lot of certain just characteristics about the team. How much pride do you take in that? And, being a guy who played there for that long, do you have a vested interest from afar to see the green and gold return back to respectability?
Oh, for sure. It was, had such a big impact on me as a football player. When I first stepped in there, it was so apparent just what the organization stood for. It was, excellence in football, being a part of the community. And then you felt like you were part of a family as well with the organization. So it was just the culture that they had going for a long time. And, I tell this story all the time, but I just remember my rookie year going in there and, you're seeing the Wall of Honor and you see all the highlight films of all the great teams that they had in the past, holding up the Grey Cups. And, it just made you want to be a part of that. And, then you had the people that, worked for the organization for such a long time and had been around and experienced all that greatness. And, it just was a great place to be able to play at. So, hopefully Chris can bring some of that back. He's been a great player in that organization. He's been through the times that have been really good. And, I'm excited for his opportunity and looking forward to, where they can go here in the future.
Yeah. Do you miss playing still, Ricky?
I do. I wish I could have a chance to be back out there. I mean, especially when it gets here in these big games and championship games, and you see the team out there making the plays, and quarterbacks throwing touchdowns, and celebrating and holding the Grey Cup up, after the game. Those are the times that you miss, and that's why we play football is a chance to do something special like that and be a part of a championship team and go out there and have that success. So definitely not having that in my life anymore. Makes it, a little bit, wishing I could be out there when I see it on TV nowadays.
Oh yeah. I would think, I'm sure you don't miss the training factor, and you probably don't miss getting blindsided sacked. Although I don't know,
No.
maybe you do a bit. I have no idea, but you probably miss all of the camaraderie and just that competitiveness on game day and leading up to the Grey Cup. Like, can you kind of put into words, like when it's for a championship and, here it is, it's Wednesday, it's media day today, everybody kind of gets in town. And so the players start talking, then tomorrow's a closed practice. Yeah. Friday, it opens up again. Saturday is the walkthrough. When were you always nervous? And did you find yourself like every year were you sitting there saying, okay, like visualizing yourself winning or thinking about winning? Like I got to think it's impossible not to think about how you're going to react when you win. You probably don't ever think about losing. You only think about winning.
Yeah, I think my approach was, I really didn't get nervous until game day. Those were the worst hours, was when you wake up on game day and then you're just kind of waiting for the game to start. And you got butterflies all day long. And once you get out there on the field, those all go away and you get into the game. But that was probably the worst day. But the whole Grey Cup week, I just tried to tell myself, expect to play your best game. You got to play your best game all week. That was just the expectation. So you prepare really hard. You do all the things that you've done all year long, as far as, studying your playbook, watching film like you normally would on a normal week, and doing the same things in practice, and just getting yourself confident and ready to go. And, that was the big thing for me. And then not putting too much pressure on yourself, not making the game bigger than it was. I try not to, run through the scenarios in my head, like if we win this, or, if this or if that. You just try and make it a game and go out there and play it, and then hopefully you're on the winning side at the end.
There was talk, Ricky, people talked about you wanting to get into coaching. You really understood and saw the game exceptionally well. Did coaching, has it really, do you have the coaching bug, or no, not really? You're more, especially maybe where your kids are at in their stage of life, that it's just not doable right now?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that a lot. At this point, I want to be able to spend as much time with my family as I can while my kids are young. And, I do have a bit of the bug in me where, I would love to have an opportunity to go be around a football team again. And like I said, I mean, you can relate to that as a player, having a chance to win a championship and, go through those games again. And I know that won't happen for me, but it could happen for me, being a coach. So definitely would love to be a part of that again. It's just right now the timing isn't where it needs to be for me, with having young kids.
Yeah, so it'd be a few years down the road. So you're saying that when the Green and Gold hire their new GM and then he hires a new coach, if he called Ricky Ray and said, "Hey, would you be our quarterback coach?" Could you say yes, or is now not the right time?
Probably not at this time. I mean,
Okay.
hopefully as my kids get older and I can see myself devoting, it's a lot of time to be a coach.
Yeah.
I mean, they put in a ton of hours. You don't get to see your family very much, throughout the year. So I'm just not ready to make that time commitment just yet, but would love maybe in the future to have that opportunity.
Ricky, it's always good to catch up with you. We appreciate it. And I know we got a lot of people texting you say you should go to Grey Cup soon as a non-player, so then you could really experience the spirit of Edmonton for more than just an hour.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've had a couple opportunities to be there a little bit longer when I wasn't in the Grey Cup.
Okay.
When I wasn't, out there for some different events and stuff. So I've got to experience the Grey Cup week, and it's an awesome week. I mean, it's so much fun, especially when you're not playing, because you get to go out and do all those things. But it is fun too while you're playing in it as well.
And I do have one last one for you, Ricky, because I had Warren Moon on, and he talked about he thinks there's lots of great quarterbacks. He just doesn't think there's enough people that are willing to commit to developing quarterbacks and have the patience. Like we see in the NFL, lots of high guys, you get drafted first, second, fourth, 10th, whatever it is. There's oodles of pressure on them. They usually go to bad teams because they're drafting high. And we're seeing 1-2 years and they're out and they're gone. And then like you see Sam Darnold now, who later on is, looks like a pretty competent quarterback. Yeah. Like he's not a Hall of Famer, but it's pretty hard to be a Hall of Famer. Where do you come out on that? And how do you think they can improve to understand the development of quarterbacks? Do you think the best thing would be is to have some sort of, minor league system for football?
Well, I think, that's just being in the right system for you. It definitely helps. Being around an offense and coaches that, can put you in good spots and play to your strengths definitely helps out, like with Sam Darnold and some of those other guys. And, that helped me, when I first got into the league, and, my rookie year in 2002 was being on a good team and having some great players around me to where I could just go out and, do my job and not have to do too much. So I think that helps. I don't know what you could do to really develop these guys. Maybe having a different football league that gives them some more opportunities to play, get some more experience, as they get into the NFL. Because unless you're a top draft pick, if you go in as a undrafted free agent or something, you're usually not getting a ton of reps in training camp, and you're kind of waiting for your opportunity. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't, and it's hard to really develop that way.
Ricky, always good to catch up with you, man. Hopefully see you again down the road, and enjoy the Grey Cup on Sunday.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
That is Ricky Ray, 4-time Grey Cup champion, 60,000 passing yards in his career. Of course, he's a CFL Hall of Famer. One of the genuinely really nice guys. And when you talk like all-time great quarterbacks in the CFL, he's right up there. He was amazing on his touch on the deep ball and his poise in the pocket. And the other thing about Ricky Ray that probably got overlooked, like that guy was tough. Like those years from 2006 to like 2011, the Elks were not very good. They're old, and he took a beating. How many of you remember you go and like Ricky Ray was like just getting walloped, and he just pulls himself up. You never saw him stare down an O-lineman ever. That guy was, I think, underrated tough for his ability to take a hit and get back up. 4:27, quick break. We'll return. We get lots of hockey texts, some CFL texts. We got 5 questions coming up and more on a busy Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Also, lots of texts coming in, 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. Your partner in Power Play. Your Power Play in Power, and they are saying 1,000 points tomorrow night. Book it, ewel.ca.
Weather forecast? Ugh. Savings forecast? Cha-ching. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 at Fountain Tire until December 14th. Restrictions apply. Fountain Tire. We're on this road together.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Service team reporting. With the remarkable reach of our bucket trucks and other equipment, we assess, service, and maintain your electrical lighting and automation systems.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Check out The Ridge Social Eatery, St. Albert. The Ridge is a locally owned, upscale neighborhood restaurant offering unbeatable daily features. Open daily at 11:30. Craving something late? Check out their new late-night menu from 8 till close. Enjoy brunch at The Ridge Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays until 2 p.m. Plus, there's open mic night every first Wednesday of the month and live music select Saturdays. Welcoming atmosphere, friendly staff, good times. For more, visit theridgestantalbert.com or social media.
Need a truck? Want a great deal on a truck? Get into Wolf GMC Buick. It's GMC's Canada-wide clearance. Take advantage of 0% financing on Sierra half-tons. Oh, and guess what? GMC employee pricing is back on all in-stock 2024 Sierra HDs and Yukons. That means thousands of dollars in savings on GMC Sierra 3/4 ton and 1 ton. Also thousands off the industry-leading SUV, the GMC Yukon. Get to Wolf GMC Buick now and drive away with money off and a smile on. Just off the Anthony Henday.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. And get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See you in store for details.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada. With sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Scott McGilvery here, HGTV host and renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquasential reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade. Safer water that tastes great. Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine, you can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
I have a startling fact. Prostate cancer affects 1 in 6 Alberta men. This could be your brother, son, father, grandfather, or friend. This November, through our Keep It in Alberta campaign, we're raising money to build a new man van, bringing free, life-saving prostate cancer testing directly to Alberta men. Thanks to our partner, the Agate Foundation, every donation will be matched up to $350,000, doubling your impact. Be part of the fight to eliminate advanced prostate cancer. Visit keepitinalberta.ca to donate today.
Adventure, laughs,
and a welcome tug on the heartstrings.
That's what you're wrapping up when you give a Duggan Cinemas holiday pack. It includes a $25 gift card and concession coupons valued at $15. Get yours between now and December 24th at Duggan Cinemas in Duggan Wellness Center.
Tim's Holiday Smile Cookie is back. From November 18th to 24th, get one to give back to your community. 100% of proceeds are donated to local charities, community groups, and Tim Hortons Foundation camps at participating restaurants in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Whichever your Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian and $5 Pink Whitney shots plus 60-cent wings. And Oilers score and win. You can win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave and 118th.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Rolling through a lovely Wednesday afternoon. Woo, got a lot of text. You know what? We'll get into it tomorrow on the show. But tomorrow's a big day for Oiler fans. 1,000 points. Connor McDavid. He'll become the fourth Oiler to score 1,000 points for that franchise, which would make them only the sixth franchise in NHL history to have four players with 1,000 points for them. And Boston, when Brad Marchand does it, they'll have five. Next year, Leon Draisaitl will likely be the fifth, and they'll be the only two with five. So, Oiler fans, you've been rather spoiled in high offensive players, Hall of Fame players, no question about it. Now, let's get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton, where stop in. The Black Friday sale is celebrated all month of November. You can lease from 0% on 2024 XC90 plug-in hybrids, and you can save up to 10 grand on remaining 2024 Volvo demo models right now. Also, I recommend, because I just got it, the Gray Vapor. It's the new color. Oof. I think it's called Vapor Gray, if I'm being honest. It's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. Got the thumbs up for my son, so that's when I know it's good. So there you go. Let's talk a little Oilers with Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff. Ty, how you doing, my man?
I am good. Sorry. So you said once Draisaitl gets there, the Oilers and Bruins will be the only two teams at 5 apiece for 1,000-point scorers.
Yeah. Well, in the who reached 1,000 points in that franchise, right? Like guys have played for other organizations, at times, and Joe Thornton scored over 1,000 points, played for Toronto, played for Boston, played for San Jose, but 1,000 points with the one franchise, yes. When Draisaitl does it, Marchand and because Marchand's at 9. I think Marchand needs like 70 points or something like that. So I'm assuming he's going to do it this year or next year. And Draisaitl needs 130. So he's going to do it. It's just a matter of probably next season. Like, I don't think he's going to score 150 points this year. It'd be great if he did, but they would be the first two. Boston will probably be the first, and they'd be the next one.
So then Pasternak is at 743 right now. So he would be 6 for Boston. And then the question for Edmonton would be, does Ryan Nugent-Hopkins have 294 more points in him in his career?
Yeah, that's a lot at his stage. Maybe he'd have to finish out his contract, I think, for sure.
Yeah,
for that to happen. So yeah, it's interesting. Connor McDavid last night, like that was vintage McDavid, and I love when I asked him. I love his response. He goes, there's games like that I don't want to come off the ice, and Knobloch did a good job of giving me opportunities, but he still only played 20 minutes. And Knobloch, to his credit, said, you know what, I probably didn't play him enough in the first and second period. I played him more in the third and the way he was going, but you know what, he was all over the ice last night, and that's really the first time this year that we've seen him dominate a game like that.
And that felt like kind of the first time all year where we got, and I guess Saturday kind of was as well with the offensive outburst against Vancouver. But I feel like this iteration, this generation of the Oilers, that game last night was a vintage Connor McDavid era Oilers win. Their penalty kill was perfect. Their power play came through with a big goal, and Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl as well were just both on a totally different level. Like McDavid at 5-on-5 and on the power play had 14 individual shot attempts in that game. 8 of them managed to hit the net. That's bananas. Then you have Draisaitl, again, vintage Draisaitl game. He scores from his office on the power play. He ends the game in overtime and looks like he's not even that excited to do it. But he scores 2 goals on 2 shots as well. Bouchard had a good goal. Like every box was kind of checked last night in that victory.
Yep. And the thing not lost on me is where Draisaitl's shots went. Sorokin made some big saves, but he was even cheating going down early, and the Oilers just kept pounding him into the pads. Like the Bouchard play, you watch that rebound, and that was a great shot, a great chance, but not a great shot placement. He put it right into Sorokin.
Yeah, and even on Draisaitl's OT winner, like when I was watching it live, it Draisaitl picks up the puck and he almost like hesitates for a minute, but it's because Sorokin was coming over so fast. And there was that split second in my brain where, again, he had only shot the puck one other time in that game. He was doing a little bit of holding on to it too much. And I had that split second of being like, what are you doing? Just shoot it. But again, world-class goal scorer knows what he's doing. He waited and that hole opened up perfectly, and it was a great shot.
And now he's tied for the NHL lead in goals with Reinhart and Cole Caulfield, but not the best start goal scoring wise for Draisaitl. It's actually his third best start. He's had 13 and 17 goals in the first 16 games of the season. But he does have Nashville tomorrow, so a hat trick is probably not something you can rule out against the Preds. I look at McDavid and tomorrow night, kind of, you're a younger guy, Ty, and you look at the it was funny how many people admitted that after a while they took Gretzky for granted. And they're just like, he's going to get 2 points, and he gets 2 points, and that's just what he does. And I do wonder at times if people are there with McDavid, not on purpose, but they're just kind of like, oh, yeah, you know what? Like, yeah, he's going to get, like, he'll score tomorrow, and I expect him to score. But I actually won't be surprised if he gets 3 or 4 points tomorrow night. Like, it just seems the best players, when they have that chance to reach a significant milestone, they get amped up. And then you throw in the fact that he has 39 points in his last 19 games against the Preds. It's a pretty good odds that he's going to get multiple point game tomorrow night.
Yeah, I get what you're saying in the whole, like, you kind of unintentionally take it for granted. It's why on my show, the shows I do with Bagged Milk, we always like to point out when McDavid has the nights like he did last night, like, enjoy it. It's crazy to think that, and it's almost scary to think we're getting to like the halfway point of this guy's career. Like, this is in all likelihood the prime of Connor McDavid's prime in these next couple of seasons. So seeing him have those nights like he did yesterday is going to be massive, and seeing him hit that milestone in an Oilers sweater is going to be massive as well. Like 1,000 points is absolutely nothing to scoff at. He's already in the top 100 of scoring all time, and he's only at his 660 whateverth game. Like, it's
59 tomorrow.
Yeah,
It's 59 tomorrow.
there you go. Yeah, it's wild, and I'm fully with you. There was a part of me earlier in the week before he had the 4-point outburst last night where I was like, oh man, this is setting up so perfectly for him to do it in Toronto in front of, the friends and family. He talks about all the tickets he's got to get for that game. I thought that was the lock, but there's no way he's held pointless against Nashville tomorrow.
No, like, I don't even know what the line would be at playalberta.ca for him to be under 0.5. But it would even that number would be incredibly, you'd probably have to bet 200 to win 100 just for him to go. And why would you do that? Like, I would think it would be that bad of odds. Like he's going to get a point tomorrow night against Nashville, pretty much lock it in. I think it's important for him to do it in front of the home fans. He would be only the second Oiler to do it on home ice. Gretzky did it against in 1984. And then Curry did it on the road in 90. Messier did it on the road in 91. And so that's another thing. Like, Oilers haven't seen a player get 1,000 points for the organization since 1991, which was also the last time they had home ice advantage past the second round. So we'll see. Could that be a little foreshadowing for the Oilers? Because they've won 2 in a row now. Ty, you know what? They've got 11 goals now in their last 2 games. Their power play has looked their best over the last 2 games, and their penalty kill, I know, is only 2 kills, but they killed them both off in a game. So when you're as bad as the Oilers' penalty kill is, you got to start somewhere celebrating.
Yeah, and I was doing that today on my show. I had a little trophy, and I put on a piece of paper on the front of it. Penalty kill above 60%. It's a big milestone. Going into last night, there was only 3 teams in the league who were even below 70%. So it was bananas to think that the Oilers were below 60%. It's been an atrocious start, but I know you dig into the numbers a lot too, but I was having a conversation today with our guy, Frank Saravalli, and we were comparing the expected goal rates against the actual goal rates for the Oilers when they're shorthanded. And the difference is pretty crazy, honestly. Like, they have their expected goals against per 60 on the penalty kill is 5.49. That's the lowest number in the NHL. Their actual goals against per 60 is the highest in the NHL. Like, how does that even make sense where you can be at either end of that spectrum? But I think goaltending is a big part of it. And also, it's early in the year, so everything's under a bit more of a microscope because of the sample size. I feel like sometimes we don't realize how much of a factor luck is. Like, they'll go on a run, and everyone pointed out, like, hey, remember in the playoffs, they killed off 20 whatever straight chances. You needed a lot of luck to do that, a lot of good luck. To be this bad early on, you need a lot of bad luck as well.
Yeah. You need some bad luck. You've probably got to block a few more shots, I think, would help on the PK, and just be more, in tune, I think. And the other thing is, to me, the penalty kill stops have been a bigger concern than the 5-on-5 play for Stuart Skinner. I've had a bigger issue with both goalies penalty killing than I have 5-on-5. and they'll have to make a few more stops. They did last night. He made 2 good saves on the penalty kill, and it led to them going perfect. Jeff Skinner has, I know he made the bad defensive play on the second goal, but to me, it was his turnovers in the first period that were the bigger issue for this team. And, he saw it in the last game with McDavid where he turned the puck over in the first period more in Vancouver. And just like Jeff Skinner's biggest strength is puck possession and when the puck's on a stick. When he starts doing that, because he's not physical and he's not good defensively, like he doesn't bring you very much. So Chris Knobloch outlined it as politely as he could about how he's got to get going. There's lots of elements of the game. Like right now, he's deserving of his spot on the fourth line.
Absolutely. And I know some people will sit there and be like, look how many shots he has. Look at his production. But I think it's very telling in the way the coach is viewing the player when you compare Skinner to Podkolzin. And Podkolzin has continued to get his second line reps and continued to get minutes with Leon Draisaitl, even though he doesn't have anything to show offensively this year. He hasn't found the back of the net once, but he's trustworthy and he's a smart player. Like Podkolzin goes out there, he works hard. He never really makes the 10 bell mistakes or the 10 bell miscoverages or whatever you see with Jeff Skinner. And for me, it's Skinner with the puck has been a problem. You mentioned the turnovers. It's also Skinner away from the puck. I was chatting with Jason Demers the other day, and there was one of those goals against Vegas, the first Eichel goal that Evan Bouchard got a lot of grief for. And Demers pointed out to me, he was like, go watch Jeff Skinner on that goal. He's the last forward into the zone. There are 3 Golden Knights still high in the offensive zone, and Skinner blows past all of them to try go for like a prayer play in front of the net. The play flips back the other way, and then the Oilers are caught with no forwards coming back on the ice there. And again, like coaches notice that kind of stuff, and Knobloch's noticing it with Skinner. I don't know what you do here, because I do think he's a guy who plays best when he is with other skilled players, but you can't justify giving him minutes with Connor McDavid right now because he's not trustworthy enough. So I don't know what they do, but it's on Skinner to try to pull himself out of this if he wants to, again, get anywhere close to another sniff in the top 6.
Yeah, he's got to be better. Now, if Arvidsson's out tomorrow night, maybe that's that cracks the door. We'll find out if they're going to recall anybody or not for the game tomorrow. Now, they didn't recall anybody today, so I'm going to guess. I guess they can announce it in the morning, but what's the purpose? You could announce it tonight at 5:00. It's the same thing. It doesn't count until tomorrow's salary cap day anyway. So maybe they're waiting till the morning, but are they going to fly the guy in during the day? I guess they could, right? Like it wouldn't be hard. So we'll see, but it's 50-50 on Arvidsson. And I could easily see the coach saying, you know what, we'll just go 11-7 for one game. It's not the end of the world. It gives McDavid and Draisaitl a little bit more ice time against the Predators. We'll probably take that. What do you make of the more I watch it, the Brett Kulak, Darnell Nurse pairing, the more I'm like, maybe that's the way to go for the right shot defender. And it's just going to be Brett Kulak, and they'll look to add a left shot third pairing defender at the deadline.
Well, again, I'm a big fan of doing stuff like this right now, early in the season, and giving it the proper legs to see if they can develop chemistry and make it work, because it can absolutely change your deadline plans. And yeah, the numbers so far have been really good with those two on the ice at 5-on-5, outscoring the other team 2-1, controlling 62% of the shot attempts. Like the boxes are checked when it comes to the fancy stats and the normal stats, and the eye test also seems to be working. Traditionally, Darnell Nurse, his numbers have been better with pure puck movers, but I mean, Brett Kulak's no slouch in that department. It's not like he has stone hands. He's got 4 goals on the year now. But it's working really, really well. And I think if you can find out about this right now and give Brett Kulak and Darnell Nurse some more time to continue to get some more chemistry together, it absolutely does change your deadline plans. And one guy I kind of wondered about, and maybe this is not the player, but the type of player, find a lefty who is comfortable playing the right side, and it's almost like you're getting the best of both worlds. Ivan Provorov's a guy pending UFA in Columbus. He's a left shot D-man who primarily plays the right side, but has done both in his career. Maybe that's the kind of guy you look at if you're reasonably confident in nursing Kulak as someone who you go, okay, if they're on the third pairing left side, sure, but they also have a little bit of upside, which Provorov would have to potentially be a top 4 right shot guy.
Yeah, he's an interesting one for sure. But getting a left D there, I think that might be the play. And the one thing that Brett Kulak has shown, he shows up in the postseason when it matters. He has a history of doing it. He did it in Montreal. He's done it in Edmonton, and he seems his calm demeanor. He just when you ask him to elevate his game, he can do it in the playoffs, which is pretty impressive. One last one for you on Pod Colson, and doing a lot of the things right, but at some point, like, when does the line of okay, you got to score become an issue when you're in the top 6?
It really is such a tough question. I know that they've had that line of, or Knobloch has had the line of the expected goals for a player, right? Once it gets to 6, the dam's got to break eventually. And you definitely don't want it to get to a point where it did with Connor Brown last year, right? Where it's 40, 50 games. But I think as long as the line is producing, which again, Arvidsson found the back of the net on Saturday against Vancouver, as long as the line is producing and they're providing you some sort of value and that trio is controlling possession and they're playing good defensive hockey, I would see no reason to pull the plug. Like, yeah, you eventually need to score next to Leon Draisaitl, and I do have the confidence that Podkolzin will get there, but as long as he's doing everything else right, and the other side of it, as long as he's doing everything else right, and Jeff Skinner is still proving he can't be trusted with those minutes, I see no reason to pull him off. Like, I'm not sitting there if I'm Chris Knobloch saying, okay, if he doesn't have a goal by the end of the road trip, he's done. He's going into the bottom 6 and I'm trying something else. As long as it looks good and the results, shot-wise, possession-wise, on-ice goals are good, I see no reason to break it up.
All right. Connor McDavid, how many points does he get tomorrow night? Before you answer, I'm going to give you this. So, Gretzky, when he was going for 0.1000, the 3 guys who were quicker than McDavid. Mike Bossy got 4 points in the game that he got to 1,000. Mario Lemieux got 3 points. Wayne Gretzky, 6, and he only needed 1. How many does McDavid get?
Well, last night was one of the nights where it felt like McDavid was capable of getting 6 or 7. I'll give you this for a prediction. I think he ends with 3 on the night, but he picks up 0.1000 in the first 5 minutes of the game. He just goes out there, snaps his fingers, and gets it done. So there's no drama, no waiting. So the first one comes early, and he ends with 3.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Ty, enjoy it. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Rundown.
Sounds good. See you, Greggs.
There's Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Face-Off. We'll come back. 5 questions and more on a busy Wednesday. I'm loving it. Text line is humming, 833-401-1440 in our email inbox.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Ain't it beautiful? What does excellence mean to you, and how does it impact your decisions? Friends, it's Carrie Dahl, and I know that at Volvo Cars Edmonton, excellence isn't an option, it's their everything. From customer satisfaction and sales, service, inventory, and retention, they excel in all. Congratulations, Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners.
Volvo of Edmonton. At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza, the meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly, building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Diablo Boots in Canada West. Two great names in work and cowboy boots. For over 60 years, Diablo has been selling the best-made Canadian boots. Diablo has boots from sizes 6E to size 15 EE, just for you. Why buy boots made in China like Ariat, Justin, or Red Wing, when Diablo has the best quality for less, made in Canada? Diablo has work and cowboy boots with replaceable soles and heels for longer life. So, save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard, on the east side of Save On Foods. Hurry in today for best selection.
The Nissan All-In Clear-Out event is on now, where you can lease or finance select remaining 2024 Sentra from 0.99% for 24 months. Plus, qualified Nissan owners may receive up to $500 in loyalty bonus. Go all in with the Nissan Sentra, featuring a beautifully redesigned front grille and sporty design. And the available around view monitor helps give you a 360 view of what's around you, and maybe what having superpowers feels like. Conditions apply. Quantities limited. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles. Culligan.com.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time for 5 questions brought to you by The Brick. Take those big payments and shrink them. You can pay over 36 months with 0% interest financing right now at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, we talked about it a little bit. Documented Connor McDavid 1 point away from 1,000. We've got a few players closing in. So I'll ask you this. In the next 2 years, how many more players do we see join McDavid in the 1,000 point club?
In the NHL, you mean?
NHL, 1,000 points, yeah.
Wow. McKinnon's going to do it this year. Brad Marchand has a chance, although his early pace will say no. Kucherov could do it this season. I think Jamie Benn has a chance to do it over the next 2 years. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's 5 or 6 guys in the next, because Draisaitl is going to do it next year for sure. Kucherov, McKinnon, Marchand, that's 4. Jamie Benn is 5. And I think there's 1 more I'm missing, but I'll say 5 for sure.
Phil Kessel hasn't hung him up yet officially, right?
No, Phil's done.
8 points away. I'd love to see Phil be added to that list, but yeah, I think he got it. I want to see Brent Burns get there. Don't think it happens in the next 2 years. So I would agree with your names, and I'm just going to throw in there that I'd love to see Phil Kessel slide in there for a chance to get there. He needs 8 more points. Question number 2. Outside of the Winnipeg Jets, who would you have as the top 3 teams in the league right now?
I got the Florida Panthers for sure, and I'll take the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, I like what they've been doing. I'm going to throw the Hurricanes up there, 9-1 in the last 10. But I would agree with you with the Panthers. And yeah, I think the Wild was the other one I was going to go with as well. Playing some good hockey, but what the Jets have done, 6 points up on the next closest competitor with 3 games in hand. They are lighting it up. Question number 3 for you. The Grey Cup getting a little bit closer. So we'll talk about that in 5 questions as the week goes on. But you've got the Jonas Brothers headlining the halftime show. Is that a selection you can get behind? And who would you say would have been your favorite Grey Cup halftime performance?
Oh, God. You go first.
I don't mind the pick for the Jonas Brothers. I think they'll put on a good show, high energy, keep the people happy. Hard to go, like, Green Bay was just such a big get for the league last year. And I know it was so close, but I think they just such vets of the whole thing. They know how to put on a show. And then I'll give a shout out here because people like to hate on them, but Nickelback puts on a good show. I don't care if you hate them. They put on a good show.
Nickelback in 2011 was great. The Lightfoot, Ray Jesperson and Justin Bieber was great. I thought Mariana's Trench stunk though, so that kind of ruined that one. But I'm gonna go off. The Nickelback one was very good. You know who I actually thought put on a really good show? I thought the Arkells in 21 were pretty good.
They're great live.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, go see them. I think they were just in town, actually. Question number 4 for you. You got NFL teams struggling with that. You see NFL fan bases turning on their coaches. So right now, as we said, do you think there are any NFL coaches who you have X'd out? They're done after this season.
Oh, Jacksonville, without question. Mark it down. Done.
I'm going to say the Raiders. And I know it's just 1 year with Antonio Pierce. I thought that was a bad hire in the offseason. I didn't get what they were trying to do here. I know they had players vouching for him and they went on a good run. They smoked some cigars in the locker room after wins. Cool. Wasn't a good hire, in my opinion. They should have got someone a little more veteran savvy. And I think maybe they look to do that this offseason. But yeah, Antonio Pierce. It was a good run. But if I'm the Raiders, I'm making that change. And final question for you. So on this day in 2002, Lose Yourself by Eminem was released. I mean, you hear that anytime you go to a sporting event in a clutch moment. Instant classic. It was also part of the 8 Mile soundtrack. So when you think of the movies that are based on musicians telling them story, I think I've asked you your favorite before. So we can do that again. What's your favorite? But also, what would be your least favorite?
Oh God. Least. Did I watch a movie that I hated that much to stick with it? That's a good question. I don't know if I have a least favorite because I probably just wouldn't watch it. Probably my favorite. It's hard for me to go against La Bamba. Like I love that movie. I the Big Bopper and all the other stuff about it because of Buddy Holly and everything. And my dad had really got me into that music, so I quite liked it. So I will go with that. As far as like least favorite. I didn't love the Jerry Lee Lewis one, Great Balls of Fire. I don't know why. Like it was okay, but I didn't love it. So I guess if I have to pick one, I would pick that. Although, you know what? Honestly, Purple Rain wasn't very good. Sorry, Prince is Unreal. The movie wasn't very good.
Yeah, there's so many good movies about musicians. Like I think the Motley Crue one they did on Netflix. I don't think the critics liked it, but it was good for entertainment value. I found it
was what I expected.
Yeah.
It didn't try to be anything other than what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's kind of what I came away from that. I'm like, well, that's kind of what I would expect from them.
And if you want a not so serious, obviously not based on a real musician, pop star. I gotta get the proper title. Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping, with Andy Samberg playing Connor for Real. Very funny movie.
Really? I never heard of it.
You have to enjoy the Lonely Island Andy Samberg vibe, but it is quite funny. Story of a pop star who goes on his own and releases an album. Worth a watch.
All right. Okay. We'll see. Hey guys, best fake musician mockumentary was Hardcore Logo from Playoff Al. Guys, Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg, Unreal from Delta Valley Jeff. Yeah. And Jeff did say that the Dirt was the absolute worst book to movie of all time.
Yeah, I heard that, but I found it entertaining.
Hey guys, what about Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story? Good one. Good one, Ryan. That's true. That was a classic. Oh, the Dewey Cox classic.
The scenes when he's walking in on them doing drugs.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want none of this, Dewey. I think I do.
Hey guys, the Weird Al biopic was awful from Chris. I'll take your word for it, my man. I've never seen it. Geez, that's too bad because Weird Al, well, although, Weird Al was very unique and he came up with some of his lyrics were hilarious. And good for him. He did something that no one else did, and that's why I think people liked it. Right? So they were talking about if you want to become successful, become an expert at one thing. And you got a much better chance. So that's what Al became an expert at that. Made a good career out of it. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juiced. 25 years celebrating the marathon, the original, the creamsicle. They're all back. Limited time. Get it now. Only at Booster Juice. Download the Boosters Reward app, and it's your final day where you can enter and get the code word for today when you sign up for the rewards app. You can win a free car. Only at Booster Juice.
The Sports 1440 update.
The Buffalo Sabres have claimed goaltender James Reimer off of waivers from the Ducks. Reimer, a veteran of 16 NHL seasons, spending time with the Leafs, Sharks, Panthers, Hurricanes, Red Wings, and the Ducks. On the ice tonight, you got the Red Wings in Pittsburgh. Caps host the Leafs, Hurricanes travel to Utah. Avs host the Kings, and the Golden Knights in Anaheim to take on the Ducks. Some news from the NBA off the court. Basketball Hall of Fame coach Greg Popovich been away from the team after he suffered a mild stroke earlier this month. The team said there's no timeline for a return, but noted he has already started his rehabilitation and is expected to make a full recovery. On the court, you've got the Pelicans in OKC, Sixers taking on the undefeated Cavaliers, Bulls in New York taking on the Knicks, the Nets up against the Celtics, Pacers in Orlando, Kings host the Suns, and the Lakers taking on the Grizz. The Oil Kings are home and taking on Gavin McKenna and the Medicine Hat Tigers. Puck drop 7 o'clock down at the Ice District. Tickets at oilkings.ca or at the door. And in the BCHL, the 10-7 Sherwood Park Crusaders hosting Salmon Arm. That gets going just after 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meat, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready. I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom. I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
The Canada-wide clearance is on at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab elevation models. With Sierra's 13.4-inch diagonal premium GMC infotainment system with Google built-in compatibility, available off-road package with hill descent control, plus an available 3-liter Duramax diesel engine. You can take the road less traveled and try new things, like fishing or whitewater rafting. I should have gone fishing. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends. Swing by Nisku Ford today, and we'll show you how to take advantage of November rebates of up to $10,000 or access finance rates as low as 0%. The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
Hockey is back, and Play Alberta, Alberta's #1 sportsbook and official partner of the Edmonton Oilers, has you covered with bigger offers, boosted odds, live betting, player props, and more. New to Play Alberta? New players now receive $200 in free bets just for signing up. You already play? Get a $10 free bet for every $100 you bet. Every week, all season long. Visit playalberta.ca and make your picks today. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermal couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Ain't it beautiful? The inventory is unprecedented. Volvo Cars Edmonton is proud to boast an amazing selection of in-stock Volvo XC40s, 60s, and 90s. Visit Volvo Cars Edmonton today and experience the exemplary service you've come to expect and the affordable luxury only found with Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 5 o'clock, welcome back as you make your way home. It is the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, live on YouTube and Facebook and X on Oilers Nation, also on the app. If you haven't tried it, you drive out of town lots and you're like, oh, man, I get too far and I can't hear it. Well, guess what? Get the app. Anywhere in the country, anywhere in the province, you get it crystal clear. We even get people on the beach, so nice. Check it out, the Stingray app or a radio player, or iHeartRadio. It's available at any of those three locations. Also, it is Wednesday, Lotto 649 at playalberta.ca. Get your tickets, $29 million. I know we have lots of people text in. Just so you know, the player prop has come out the day of the game. So, McDavid, a point. If there was ever a more captain obvious, it's that. Tomorrow. I always tell people, and I'm not a great gambler. I don't gamble a lot, but I would gamble on that. Connor McDavid, a point, easy. I'd be pretty confident saying 2 for sure. Won't be shocked if he gets 3. Like, honestly, when I look up the history of guys in getting their 1,000 point in the game for all these guys, trust me, I think it's a big deal for players. And it'll be a big deal for McDavid. His teammates know it's a big deal. He'll want to do it in front of the crowd. I won't be surprised if it's done early. And then the momentum in the building, like a lot of people are going to want to be there tomorrow night. Right? It'll be you don't get moments like this very often. It's only the 4th time, and really only the 2nd time Oiler fans will be able to do it on home ice. The last time, 1984, December 19th, 1984. Wayne Gretzky had a 6-point game. He needed 1 point to get to 1,000. He got 6. So something you haven't seen since 1984, 1,000-point game. Big deal. And keep in mind, the NHL does have rules that the team can leave the bench for special situations and not be penalized. Tomorrow night would be one of them. If I'm the Oilers teammates, I'm coming off the bench for a 1,000-point man for sure. Let's get to the spec report brought to you by GS Construction, as you know what, they are the underground infrastructure experts. Quick, fast, reliable. They get the job done. Allows you, whether it's driving, whether it's just simple thing like running water, They do it all at GS Construction. Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us once again. And Spec, your partner in crime, Gene Principe, had one of his classic intros last night. Now, I don't know if I'm assuming because you're at the rink, you didn't see it live, but I'm guessing you might have seen it. He dresses up, got the baseball gear on. He brings in the big pitcher from the Guardians, Eric Zabrowski, which is unreal. And, he plays it. And then the best part was talking to Gene, for anybody who watched it, talking to Gene afterwards. The guys are giving him the gears because Eric threw him the ball and Gene dropped it. And Gene's like, I lost it in the lights.
I talked to Eric Zabrowski. I ran into him coming out of the Oilers dressing room, and he said to me, well, Gene told me to tell everyone that he lost it in the lights.
Eric's a pretty big dude. Hey, you pitched back like he is a hulking man.
Oh, yeah, sure he is. He looks like a big leaguer. But, I told him last night, I asked him, he grew up pitching in West Edmonton and then in that St. Albert, the Legion Diamond in St. Albert. And I told him, I said, man, watching you pitch to get, go through Soto and Judge in Yankee Stadium in a playoff game. I says, I grew up pitching on that same mound at Legion Diamond, pitched 500, I don't know, lots and lots and lots of games there. I said, for every one of us mokes that stood on that mound, dreaming that one day you were there for us and we were all living vicariously through you.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, it would be huge. Like, it's true because we were talking about that. Like, you talk about a pressure situation, Yankee Stadium, going up against Soto and Judge and Kane and both. That was unreal.
Yeah, like this stage doesn't get any bigger, right? I mean, I guess it could be the World Series, but come on. Stage doesn't get any bigger. This kid is a big league pitcher. And he's going to have I'll tell you what, I'm knocking wood, stay healthy. He's going to have a hell of a career up there.
Yeah. This 97 kid, I think he's going to have a pretty good career in the NHL, Spec. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this 97 kid's going to be all right. I firmly believe he'll be the second player in NHL history to score 2,000 points. He's the fourth fastest to 1,000. He'll be the second fastest to 2,000. I honestly, I have no doubt in my mind he's going to do it. He'll probably be at 1,100 points by the end of this season, for goodness sakes. So, tomorrow night's a pretty special occasion for him. Fourth quickest to do it. He'll only be it's kind of funny. He's going to be the 99th guy all time to get it because 99 has a pretty significant number in Edmonton, and he could join 99 as the only guys for the Oilers to do it on home ice.
Yeah, it'll be a special night for sure. We've all seen McDavid. There's different moments. Like sometimes you go to the rink not expecting anything, and he gives you a night that you never forget. This is one where, I think we all know what's coming. And it's, you gotta, I said to Zach Hyman this morning, like all of us older people in Edmonton who've watched those Gretzky years, we all said to ourselves at one point or another when it was the mid 90s or the early 2000s and the team was awful and the best player, was a good player, but not a great player. We probably took that stuff for granted a little bit back in the 80s and early 90s. And, watching Connor McDavid do this stuff, I'm wagging my finger at everybody. Don't take it for granted again this time. This is special stuff. What's going to happen tomorrow night very likely is I'm looking forward to going to the rink. I'm going to drink it in. I'm going to watch it. There's lots more to come. But this is a milestone that not many hockey markets get to enjoy, boy. We're very, very lucky here in Edmonton.
Oh, God, yeah. Like next season, they will likely join Boston as the only two franchises that have 5 players with 1,000 points for one franchise. So, you know what? They've seen some great players over the years, no question. Last night, McDavid had a good game. Draisaitl scored 2 unreal goals. Obviously won in overtime, but I want to talk about the shift by Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, and Ekholm that set up the game winner. They won't get any points on the score sheet, but they really led to that game because then Bouchard, McDavid, and Draisaitl came over the bench, and the 3 Islander defenders were gassed, and these 3 were just like, all right, bing, bang, boom, game over.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of overtimes. We've watched McDavid and Draisaitl and Bouchard end a lot of overtimes. but I don't think we've ever seen one set up quite that way, have we? Like, you know, we've never really seen that first wave, that first other unit soften up the defense, hang on to the puck, get a change, and then the killers come over the boards against a dead, tired trio of Islanders. And, you know, it's interesting. I wonder if there's any way. I mean, Ekholm almost scored a couple of times, but, you know, does it become a bit of a strategy? Do you rag the puck a little bit while McDavid and Draisaitl are on the bench getting a break? I'm not sure. But it was a 2-part deal, man. That was a 2-shift goal last night. And nice to see. You know, nice for the Oilers to see it wasn't all McDavid and Draisaitl. It was a bit more of a team effort.
Yes. And, you know, obviously they won't love the fact that they had a 3-1 lead and then blew it to get to overtime. You know, 2 not great defense. Well, really, I'm not even going to say it's a bad defensive breakdown. Like that was some really good passing on the third goal. Obviously, I didn't love the second goal by any stretch of the imagination. And we've talked about Jeff Skinner, Air Spec, and I asked Chris Knobloch today, and man, I think he's very calm. He's very poised, but man, he drew out his answers. And I think you can tell there's some frustration there with Skinner. And really, the biggest surprise to me for Skinner is I think his demotion doesn't come from his defensive play, which I know wasn't great on that second goal, but he was already on the fourth line. It's become with how many giveaways he's had. He's giving the puck away when he plays with McDavid in that Vancouver game. He gave the puck away way too often. And I think that led to him, you know, being bolstered down. And then again, last night found himself on the fourth line.
Well, he needs to find the level, right? He needs to find another level. We're only in November here, and he's already not able to match the level of competitiveness that's necessary. He's not digging in any way defensively, right? He's not hard on pucks in any way. And, you know, the finishing, like it's true what they say, even though it's a cliche. If you take care of the rest of your game and you have as much skill as a guy like Jeff Skinner, the finishing will come. The goals will come.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're getting stripped of pucks, when you're chasing it down, when you don't have the puck because you're playing a not sufficient brand of defensive play, those goals aren't going to come. And that's the foundation of his game that, listen, the guys in Buffalo will tell you it was never there when he was in Buffalo either. So this is a prove-it time for him. He's played on non-playoff teams. He's got 1,000 games. He's never played a playoff game. We can sit back and say, well, you know, it's bad luck and happenstance, and he never played in the right team and blah, blah, blah. He's on a playoff team now and a Stanley Cup contender. And if he can't stick in the top 6 here, or even in the top 9, then it's going to be, I'll tell you where he's going to find a solution, Jason. He's going to go down the hall of the bathroom. He's going to look in the mirror. That will be where the solution is.
Yeah. Well, you know, he does have a no movement clause, but you know, I wonder if you get to the trade deadline, he's still really struggling. You know, there's a case if you move out some money, give up a draft pick to bring in a guy who can play, and getting rid of Skinner's money, that frees up a lot of cap space at that point. So, you know, that's something to watch for and see kind of how it goes, right? Look, I know you got a no movement clause and it's never guaranteed, but Spec, I've seen lots of guys with no movement clauses get moved because the team basically is like, yeah, we don't want you here. So,
well, listen, you know, Jeff Jackson brought in Skinner, right? Skinner was signed before Stan Bowman came along, correct?
Yes. He
was. And so was Josh Brown. So, you know what, Jeff, I'll put my hand up. When Jeff Jackson had that deadline as the de facto GM of the Oilers, the joke was, why do they even need to hire a GM? Look what a great job he's doing. Well, so far, we were wrong, right? So far, Josh Brown can't play. Can't make this team. And so far, Jeff Skinner can barely make this team. So let's see where this goes. You know, it's only November. Jury's not back yet. But Jeff Skinner's supposed to help around here. And if he doesn't, it's a big mistake, whether or not you can trade that contract.
Yeah, totally fair. The more Brett Kulak plays, Spec, the more we see him on the right side, the more when I look at the right depth chart for the trade market, I'm like, the Oilers might just have the right defenseman. It's going to be Brett Kulak, and they're going to go out and look to find a third pair left defenseman.
Yeah, that's, you know, one thing about Brett Kulak that everyone here would agree with, where he always plays better in the playoffs, even than he plays the regular season, right? This guy is a gamer, man. He's always raises his game in the playoffs, and when the playoffs are over, we go, man, 27 was really good. So if you're telling me that he moves from being a third pair defenseman to a second pairing defenseman, that's commensurate with his past performance. He's always pushed, you know, played above his weight. Now, I'm going to say to you, if he's anchoring my third pair and I got a better guy in the second pair with Nurse, that's probably a preferable situation. Now, I've probably got a pretty good defensive core now, but
Sure.
your point is strong, Jay, that the right side defensive, like the pending UFA market isn't good. That doesn't mean there's not a right shot D-man out there that you can trade for, but the pending UFA market is not strong. And maybe Kulak's plays take a little pressure off Stan Bowman here.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I look at guys who have 1 year left. Now, Rasmus Anderson's obviously very good, but I don't include him because I think there's zero chance Calgary trains him to Edmonton. I think at times people don't want to admit it, but I think there's some organizations that are like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not trading Anderson to Edmonton. And my fan base watches him win a cup in Edmonton. I just think there's a lot of people like, I don't want to do it.
One of those people is Craig Conroy. He ain't doing it.
Yeah, no, I would be quite surprised if it happened. Looking ahead to tomorrow, you got Nashville. Pickard's in. We had Kevin Woodley on talking about Stu Skinner and, plays off the rush, right? The first goal. And Kevin gave us a lot of things to digest on that. Okay, you know what? Did he expect the defenseman to play it so he's not expecting a pass? Right. Yeah, there's lots of different forms. He did admit that he probably took too much ice, came out too far, because the farther you come out, that means the farther you have to go to your right to stop the shot. Where if you play a little deeper on that time, take less ice, now you have shorter distance to go. And I don't know if you saw Stephen Valiquette, but Stephen Valiquette put out a number that Stu Skinner, off of the rush, one of the worst goalies in the NHL on high danger chances the last few seasons. Now, the good news is the Oilers give up the fewest, but it is something that they're going to have to monitor here and try to find a way to improve.
Well, listen, I'm never going to argue with Kevin Woodley when it comes to big picture goalie statistics or this guy, he's forgotten more about goaltending than I'm ever going to know. But I've watched a lot of hockey, Jason, and I'm here to tell you, we can quibble about his work against the rush and we can talk big picture. If anyone's blaming Stu Skinner on that Palmieri goal last night, where it's a long pass across and a one-time rifle about 8 inches under the bar. I mean, if Draisaitl scored that goal, would we be talking about a goaltender here? That was a fantastic goal by a professional goal scorer, a 30-goal man who's made a long living in this league, burying pucks. That was a fantastic goal. Are we asking why Sorokin let the Bouchard shot in? Because we should be. Are we asking why Sorokin had the angle covered and Draisaitl scored in overtime? We're not asking about that. You just said to me, Draisaitl scored 2 fantastic goals. Well, that Palmieri scored 1 fantastic goal. I got not an inch of me ever said, oh boy, you should have had that one. Sorry, man.
No, well, Woodley talked about how he made it life on himself. If he doesn't take that much ice, there's no need to go out that far. Then he could get across, right? He outlined it that it's one where that's positioning that puts you in a better position to make that save. Good shot, sure. But he felt that's one. Now, he did also outline why Skinner might have done the motion he did, because he thought the defenders, maybe he didn't pick up the read, or he thought those guys, one of the 2 defenders in front of him were going to take him. They didn't necessarily play that very well. It was also a turnover, right? So it's a quick transition. So there's lots of other factors, but it doesn't change the fact that the one weakness of his game, in zone play spec, he's top 5. Off of the rush is dead last. So they got to try to find a way to improve him off the rush.
Yeah, that's fair. Everyone's got their weaknesses, and I'm not even here to tell you that Stu Skinner's been absolutely fantastic all year. That's not what I'm saying. He has let in some soft goals this year in inopportune times. I think of the Hannafin goal in the Vegas game. He can be better, and I think he probably will be better. But I will reiterate that Palmieri goal. Close your eyes and think of Yeri Curry. That's what that goal reminded me of. That's a good goal. It's not a bad goal.
Mark Spector joins. Now, by the way, was that your Don Cherry impersonation of Sorokin?
What do you mean?
Well, you're just butchering his name multiple times. I was like, this is unbelievable. I'm talking old grapes here. It's fantastic. I was like, are you taking the new Don Cherry to just be like, I'm just going to butcher the name on purpose? It's amazing. I was like, that's fantastic.
No, I never butcher a name on purpose. If I said it wrong, it's because I said it wrong, but no.
Okay.
I personally think one of the most
doing that. Oh,
no.
like Teddy Peckman is probably still my favorite for Theo Peckman. Like when I saw Theo in Toronto last year, And when I saw it, because I get along with him, I was like, hey, Teddy Beckman. And he laughs because he's like, oh my God, his buddies, they were all over him forever. They call him that. That's not a bad nickname, right? Teddy Beckman. That's not a bad nickname.
No, I never liked that about Don Cherry. I always feel it's disrespectful to not take the time to learn someone's name. If I got Sorokin's name wrong, I apologize for that. But no, I'm not. A guy's name's his name. Figure out what it is. You're a professional. You should know what it is.
The Teddy Beckman was still one of my awesome time.
It was a beauty for sure.
That was because honestly, that one I think he just screwed it up. Like I don't even think he like with the European names. We knew that sometimes that was his shtick, right? He would screw up the European guy's name. I honestly don't think that he was meant to screw up Theo Peckham. He just got on one of his rolls and just blurted out Teddy Peckham.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. Well, Spec, for fun, Connor like everybody knows he's getting a point tomorrow. How many points does he finish with tomorrow night against the Nashville Predators? And here's a caveat for you, Spec, if you don't know. Mike Bossy, to get to his 1,000 point, he had a 4-point game. Mario Lemieux had a 3-point game. Wayne Gretzky, who needed 1 point, had a 6-point game.
Wow.
Yari Curry, Mark Messier each had 3-point games to be the two other Oilers. So I'm just giving you a little history lesson on 1,000-point game. What do you think David does?
Well, the only thing working against him is their Draisaitl and McDavid's absolute dominance of the Nashville Predators. It can't go on forever. It's got to end at some point. Like it's otherworldly. It's gone past being just a fluke thing here, right? Their numbers. What's Draisaitl? I think he's closer to
24 goals and 37 points in his last 16 games against the Preds, and McDavid has 39 points in his last 19 games.
So 2 points a game he's averaging, and Draisaitl's better than that.
Yeah.
I'm here for a good time. Let's see a 4-point night, 5-point night. I'd love to see it just because that's what fans want to see. But it can't happen forever. At some point, Nashville's got to show up and rain on the party just a little bit. But I'll tell you what, this is what my prediction. Watching Connor McDavid play the last 2 nights, he was very good in Vancouver. He was even better last night. When he gave us that quote after the game where he said, nights like that, I don't even want to come off the ice.
That was a great question. I love the person who asked that question. It's fantastic.
Who asked that question? You?
Yeah, that's right.
It was a good question because it got a hell of an answer. So when he's in one of these grooves and he's going this good and feeling this good, don't tell me I'm betting against him getting anything less than 3 points tomorrow night.
I know and that's how good he is, that a lot of people are like, because 3-point games are really, really hard. And you're just like, and honestly, I don't even feel crazy to think, he's going to get 3 points tomorrow night. Like that's how good he is. And that to me is the level. What did Draisaitl say? It's legendary. And I think that's probably true. It's something that fans, there'll be people out there like, you know what? I'm buying tickets just because I want to be in the building for his 1,000 point to see what he'll put on a display, because the best players in the world, they get excited. And I know he'll try to downplay because he's super humble, and that's fine. But inside, he's fiery, and he's a 3-point game. I'm with you. I don't. I won't be shocked at all.
And I feel like his teammates are right alongside.
God, yes.
They'll be dialed in. It's like I don't bet sports because I don't bet sports, but it's a tough position to be the Nashville Predators tomorrow night. Talk about walking into a hornet's nest. Oh boy, you are walking into a hornet's nest tomorrow night.
Yeah. Spec, we'll see you at the rink tomorrow. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks, Jake.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. We'll return and we'll hear from the orders. They get set for, it's a big game tomorrow. I know it's a random game in mid-November, right? What is it? The 17th game of the season? But it's a pretty big game. And I think there's going to be a little added juice tomorrow in the building. Talk about it. We'll hear from Chris Knombach and more. Zach Hyman on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube and Facebook. It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net. At Papa John's, better is our specialty. Try our butter chicken pizza. The meats, the works, garden fresh, and more. Each special in its own way, just like you. With that ooey, gooey, crispy, crunchy taste, fresh, never frozen dough, and quality topping. Special has never tasted better. And so, for a limited time, get any large specialty pizza for just $17.99 with promo code LG1799 at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza. Better get you some Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Are you ready, Gene?
Ready? I'm not just here to make a thermo a couple of bucks. I'd never just microphone it in.
Take one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for furnace season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep, unlike a furnace, I have no filter.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at the Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV. And get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year, and the Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details.
A career in the public service is better in Alberta. Better wages, lower taxes. Better job opportunities with our thriving economy. Better chances for advancement. Plus, a better future with new investment in healthcare and education. Public service. It's better here. Learn more and discover new career opportunities in the public sector at alberta.ca/betterhere. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already.
Yeah, we're working in your basement. Doing a replacement. The work is so earnestly building your legacy.
With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Iron Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Catch the most anticipated battle of the year right here. The venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the Tyson versus Paul Boxing Watch Party this Friday. The biggest screens in the city. For $25, enjoy an all-you-can-eat buffet. Plus, drink features and great prizes. Doors open at 5 p.m. Action starts at 6 p.m. Tickets are limited, so get yours now at rivercreeresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
We all live in Canada, right? And we all know it gets cold, right? And every second that ticks by, it gets colder and colder. Well, GS Construction is prepared for that. GS Construction is the group that makes sure all those underground pipes that lead to and away from your home stay flowing. Because pipes freeze. You don't want that. So GS Construction has been hard at work as winter approaches, preparing our underground systems to run smoothly. To find out more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube and Facebook and X, sports1440.ca, your place to enjoy live sports talk on the radio, on the internet, on your app, on YouTube. It's great. Orders hosting the Nashville Predators tomorrow night, a team that they have absolutely owned. And we'll look to own again tomorrow night as Connor McDavid makes his quest to become the 99th player in NHL history to get 1,000 points, but the 4th quickest in 659 games, which is over a point and a half per game for that stretch of time. Pretty impressive, to say the least. Coming up tonight in the NHL, the Red Wings are in Pittsburgh. The Penguins, smarting after that tough loss in Dallas. The Maple Leafs are in Washington. The Great Eight, his quest to catch Gretzky continues. The Hurricanes are on fire, are in Utah. LA's in Colorado, and the Golden Knights in Anaheim. And if you missed it earlier this week, Mark Stone is out. And no word on how long. They're saying day to day, which in the past has turned into week to week. So we'll see what that means. 833-401-1440. Let's hear from Chris Knobloch, as we got into a lot of different things on that. But also, actually, let's start with Zach Hyman. First of all, Zach Hyman just talking about the power play and the last two games. It's looked a lot like we've seen the last 5 years. Does it feel that way? Does he feel it's back to where they expect it to be?
Yeah, still a lot of room to grow and to get better. But yeah, it's a long season. I think we're pretty confident that we're a really good team, and I think it's a good start.
Well, good start, and they've created a lot of chances. And asked Hyman just about the McDavid game, and it is more special. And as a teammate, do you feel that, even though it's not your accomplishment? I think most of us, when you see someone else reach a milestone accomplishment, you kind of feel good for them, don't you? And I would definitely as a teammate. So, Hyman talks about the excitement of heading into tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, he hits milestones all the time, but I think this one is obviously a special one. Like you said, not many people get there, and he's able to potentially do it. The fourth quickest is pretty incredible, considering all the incredible players that have played. So, but to him, it's another game, right? But to us, I think to everybody, to all the hockey fans of the world, it's pretty astonishing. And obviously, he's still a pretty young guy, so a lot of hockey left.
Well, yeah. Think about it. So I was crunching the numbers. So he'll get to 1,000 tomorrow night. That's 659. You look at the age of players now. Let's just say he plays another 10 years, which would still have him younger than Ovi, who, by the way, is on pace for 50 goals. And so that's 820 games. Let's say he misses some games here or there. Let's just, whatever, 5 games a year. I'll just lose that. So that's 50. Now you're down to 770 games. To get to 1,000 points, he'll slow down. But keep in mind, this year, he's got after tomorrow, he's got 65 games left. Him getting to 100 points means he's probably at 120 points this year, because he's currently at 17. So let's just give him, quote, 3 tomorrow night. Would anybody be shocked if he's at 120 points this year? Not really. So now he's up to 1,100 at the end of 10 seasons. He's got 1,100 points. So now he's got to get 900 points over the next decade. It's a lot easier. It's still hard, don't get me wrong. But honestly, 2,000 points is, and I've said, I went back over a year and a half when I was crunching the numbers on, I said, he's going to do it. And I firmly believe it. And that's pretty special. And Oiler fans, I firmly believe Connor McDavid is going to sign a contract extension next summer, which would then put him in the category. He'll pass at some point Wayne Gretzky for most points in franchise history. And could give Oiler fans, if that's another 8-year deal, it'll give you 19 seasons of McDavid. There can be a lot of reasons to be frustrated as an Oiler fan at times, and I think that's valid. But 19 years of the best player of his generation, one of the best players of all time, you'll take it. No question you'll take it. Of course you hope he wins a cup. I get all that. And I always try to put the winning the Stanley Cup is in a total different conversation than all the regular season stuff, because you can't win a cup in the regular season. Now, you can help your chances by maybe getting home ice. I get that. But you can't win it. It's physically impossible. And I asked Hyman about when you're playing with McDavid. Like, I think I can see it. And most of you were watching last night. You're like, geez, McDavid looks like he's in a different zone. As a teammate, do you sense it? And then what do you do in that moment?
Yeah, you just try to get him the puck. Maybe he was skating. He's always skating, but obviously, like anybody else, some games you feel better than others. And that was a game, obviously, where he had his A legs, right, where he was just skating up and down the rink and just going through guys. And it seemed like every time he got the puck, he made a play, and we were able to get a chance.
Now, before we go to break, I do want to read this. This is I don't talk a ton about my son because I'm not sure people want to know too much personal life. But so my son's 10, and I didn't even know he could write a poem. And he was asked to write a poem in his school about peace. And so this is what he wrote. And I thought it would fit in with, well, because it's good. And I'm a little bit of a proud dad here for a second. But also it has a hockey connection that I think our listeners will enjoy. Peace smells delicious like my grandma's freshly baked bread out of the oven. Peace looks gorgeous like flourishing flowers in gorgeous bright sunlight. Peace tastes scrumptious like my grandmother's warm, toasty bread. Peace feels heated like hot cocoa on a frosty winter Monday. Peace sounds joyful like when the Edmonton Oilers win the 2025 Stanley Cup. Peace is not on the outside. It's on the inside of us. By Beckett. I like the last line a lot. And I assume many of you might like the second one. So that my wife had sent me that. So I thought, you know what? I got to read that. He is a big fan of his grandmother's bread, in case you're wondering. And it's pretty good, actually. I'm not going to lie. So, but geez, peace looks gorgeous like flourishing flowers and gorgeous bright sunlight. That for a 10-year-old, who knows? Geez, might have to get him into some poetry classes here. I like it. I like it a lot. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap things up on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, and Facebook.
Ain't it beautiful? There's electricity in the air. Carrie Dahl here for Volvo of Edmonton, where the Volvo XC40 and C40 fully electric vehicle is now in stock, along with a great selection of Volvo T8 hybrid models. Experience the trusted Volvo quality and technology to power into tomorrow at Volvo Cars Edmonton, Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winners. Experience the difference.
Volvo of Edmonton.
Get early access to real Black Friday prices now at The Brick. Save up to 65% off select sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining room furniture. Plus, save up to $700 off a big screen TV and get free shipping on TVs over 50 inches. Find 40% off mattresses and next day delivery on in-stock beds. Plus, save 3 times the tax when you buy 2 or more Samsung major kitchen appliances. Find a lower price before the end of the year and The Brick will refund the difference. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details.
Hey, it's Scott from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. I think it's safe to say we are all paying attention to interest rates these days. If so, you'll like this. We have 0% financing available on Jeep Compass, Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Wagoneer. 0% on the Dodge Durango and the all-new Hornet. And the rates on Ram 1500, Ram 2500, and Ram 3500, you guessed it, 0%. Are you picking up the theme? We have 0% financing on virtually all 2024 new models with hundreds to choose from. Why pay interest? Instead, come get a new vehicle at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Before every big interview, every big presentation, every big moment, I've always looked in the mirror and put on my game face. But lately, my eyes look tired, my brow looks old, and I'm starting to think it's game over.
Stop thinking and start seeing me, Dr. Vance Elliott, for skin refreshing treatments designed to give you a fresh and natural appearance.
He didn't make me look weird. No, he gave me back my game face.
Book your consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Iron Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Catch the most anticipated battle of the year right here. The venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Don't miss the Tyson versus Paul boxing watch party this Friday. The biggest screens in the city. For $25, enjoy an all-you-can-eat buffet. Plus, drink features and great prizes. Doors open at 5 p.m. Action starts at 6 p.m. Tickets are limited, so get yours now at rivercreekresort.com.
River Cree Resort and Casino. Excitement. Bet on it.
Yes, I'd like a double Schwab, please.
Excuse me?
And upsize the Schwabs. Can I get a diet Schwab with that?
Please pull around, sir.
It's get the truck out of here at Schwab's. Right now, get a 2024 GMC or Chevy 1500 Crew Cab loaded with extras for just $54,995, or a 2024 GMC 1500 Crew Cab Elevation starting at $56,900. Plus, save up to $17,000 on the Sierra Denali and Chevy High Country. Satisfy that craving at Schwab Chevrolet Buick GMC in Leduc.
Portions of this hour brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. Get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Ooh, the final countdown. It's a classic. Classic. That is a sports song for sure that you've seen in or heard in many facilities. I love it. 833-401-1440 is our inbox. Tomorrow on the show, we will set up the Oilers and the Nashville Predators as the Oilers look to win 3 in a row for the first time this season. Other times they've tried it. They've been unsuccessful, losing to New Jersey. They also lost to Columbus. That was the tough one. Everybody remembers that game. That was rather ugly. Really kind of from the get-go in that game. They're never really in that game. Would they lose 6-1? I think it was. That was pretty ugly. And also the loss in Dallas. So they beat who they win? They beat Philly and Nashville, then lost to Dallas. They beat Pittsburgh and Detroit, lost to Columbus, and beat Nashville and Calgary. And so Nashville has always been parts of their 2-game winning streaks. We'll see if they can get to a third this time. If they do, then they'll be 5-2 in their last 7 games. And slowly they continue to creep up the standings. Obviously, you stay. The good news for the Oilers, unlike last year when they dug themselves a really deep hole, not only were they off to a terrible start, some other teams were off to great starts. And there's teams off to good starts this year, but in their division, like obviously there's the Jets, but LA has 21 points. The Oilers have 17. They have a game in hand on LA. So think about that. The Oilers win their game in hand. They're 2 points back of LA, who's in first. Now Vegas does have. Vegas is 3 points up, and the Oilers having a game in hand, so that that changes a little bit. But either way, they're not very far behind Vegas or LA or Vancouver. Even Calgary is 2 points ahead of them. Although Calgary or Edmonton has a game in hand. We all know that the Oilers shooting percentage would seem that it's going to improve. Now, how much? I don't know, because I still saw it last night a few times. At times, they still try to go low too often, and it's a little bit of an issue. There was times where I thought Sorokin was cheating across low because he expected that's where the shot's going to go. So, look where Leon Draisaitl scored last night. Upstairs. Pretty nice goals. Actually, really nice goals. So Sorokin makes some good saves. And, I thought Speck was fair. If that goal goes in on Stu Skinner, people are freaking out saying it's a terrible goal. But if it goes in on Sorokin, it's just fine. And so sometimes, like last night, they weren't terrible goals. You would like some better spacing by Skinner on the first goal. In a perfect world, yes. Not much of an issue. Kevin Woodley outlined the second goal and, where the rebound goes. And, when you go to kick it out sometimes, if you just miss it in the wrong spot, it doesn't go where you want it to go. That's going to happen sometimes. And the third goal, as you said, man, low to high, lateral across. It's like the hardest save to make. And, good puck movement there by the Islanders. But the Oilers pick up the win. And ultimately, that is what matters. I do want to get to a few other texts, 833-401-1440. Hey, Gregor, how many games did it take Sidney Crosby? What other active guys? I want a comparison to McDavid. I know where he compares all time, but what about guys in his generation? Well, Sidney Crosby was the quickest amongst players that in McDavid's generation, if we're calling the 2000s, and Crosby did it in 757 games. So McDavid gets a point tomorrow night. He'll have done it in 98 fewer games played. Now, we know that Crosby missed some games due to injuries, yes, but those games don't count. This is games played. And, McDavid, that's pretty impressive. Almost 100 fewer games than Sidney Crosby. Not bad at all, man. Not bad at all. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger running things on Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook, everything online. Have yourselves an awesome Wednesday evening. Happy hump day. Enjoy the games tonight. And we will talk point 1,000. I got a lot of data for you tomorrow. We'll get you fired up for what should be a very entertaining game. And remember, if you want tickets, there's a few left. You can go to EdmontonOilers.com/tickets to get your seats for tomorrow night, because I think it's going to be one of those games where a lot of people want to say they were there. It's not very often a guy gets 1,000 point on home ice. It's only ever happened one time in franchise history. That was Wayne Gretzky in 1984. What's that? 40 years ago? So, hey, maybe another 40 years, another guy will do it. We'll see. Maybe Leon Draisaitl next year. Here's Connor Halley in a Sports 1440 update brought to you by the Alberta GMC dealers. The Canada-wide clearance is on now at GMC. You can get a $7,500 cash credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Elevation. See more at gmcoffers.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Couple games underway already tonight in the NHL. Both scoreless. Penguins, Red Wings, Maple Leafs, Capitals. Both those games early on in the first period. Later tonight, the Canes travel to Salt Lake City, taking on the Hockey Club. You got the Kings and Avalanche. And at 8 o'clock to wrap it up, Ducks hosting the Vegas Golden Knights. Off the ice, those Ducks losing goaltender James Waymark. They placed him on waivers. He was claimed by the Buffalo Sabres today. Basketball Hall of Famer Greg Popovich has been away from the team because of a mild stroke he suffered earlier this month. That was announced by the Spurs earlier today. The team said there's no timeline for a return, but noted he's already began his rehabilitation and is expected to make a full recovery. On the court, Pacers up on the Magic 41-36 in the second. He also the Celtics trailing the Nets 19-11. The Bulls lead the Knicks 22-18, and the 12-0 Cavaliers right now trail the 76ers 23-20 down early in the first quarter. Later tonight, Grizz taking on the Lakers. The Trailblazers host the Timberwolves and the Suns in Sacramento. The Oil Kings back in action tonight at home hosting Medicine Hat. That gets going just after 7 o'clock. And in the BCHL, you got the 10-7 Sherwood Park Crusaders taking on Salmon Arm. Puck drop just after 7. College football right now, Miami, Ohio leading Kent State 10-7. Northern Illinois up on Akron 17-6. And Eastern Michigan has a 7-0 lead over the Ohio Bobcats. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio and Kevin Carius, Brandon Douglas back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting